All right, shoot, are we on? Let's see. Anything? Audio and video? Excellent. Sorry about that, everybody. Shoot. My mobile encoder right here took about half an hour to reboot here. Not normal. I'm hoping the thing isn't dying on me. But anyway, welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here, everybody. Welcome back out here to eastern Utah. We're working in the early Cretaceous Cedar Mountain Formation on an ankylosaur bone bed. The largest, densest, most prolific ankylosaur bone bed on the planet. It's going to be a fun stream. We've got a lot of people here, and there's going to be a lot to talk about. We're digging up these dinosaurs for the Prehistoric Museum at Utah State University Eastern, and I'm going to be trying to show you how we do paleontological fieldwork. So if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask those. That's what these streams are all about. If you're new here, let me to introduce myself real quick. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. Talking about fossils, talking about the history of life on Earth, talking about extinction and evolution, the origins of biodiversity, the philosophy of science itself, all that good stuff. Normally I'm back home in my office, talking about new scientific papers, interviewing other paleontologists, doing 3D printing and art and tons of Q&A, all that good stuff. But right now I'm out in the field. I'll be out here for the next few days. Might be going home a little bit early, actually. We'll talk about that. But yeah, I'll show you around. It's good to see everybody. But yeah. And holy cow, we're getting a Kitboga raid. Holy moly. Well. I'm glad you're here. Holy cow. Welcome to a live dinosaur dig. Shoot. Kitboga, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. I hope you had an excellent stream. It's like 3,000 people coming in. Don't go away. I'm going to show you a real-life dinosaur dig live out here in the middle of nowhere in the eastern Utah desert. I guess I'll do that intro again. Welcome, everybody. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. Hopefully you know already that a paleontologist is a scientist who studies fossils. I work on dinosaur fossils in particular, and that's what we're digging up here out in eastern Utah. Just to give you a quick geographical sense for where we are. Middle of nowhere. That is the eastern edge of Arches National Park, near the town of Moab, Utah. So the horizon there, that's Arches National Park. So we're just outside it over here. We're digging in rocks that are about 130 million years old, and we've got a ton of armored dinosaurs that we're excavating here. You're going to see a ton of fossils today. You're going to meet some of the paleontologists and students who are excavating them. It's going to be a good time, so stick around. Yeah, and so there is something in Utah that says check badger. Yes, indeed, dinosaurs. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Here, a little bit of a primer on what we're digging up before we actually see some of those bones. Is anybody here, especially in the raid, have you heard of the dinosaur Gastonia? It's named after a guy called Rob Gaston. That's where the name comes from. This is a plastic model of what this dinosaur would look like. This is the best one I could find on the commercial market. Very spiky dinosaur. We've got dozens of these critters here, all disarticulated. They all fell apart. It's kind of a big mystery why we have so many of these guys all in the same place, buried together. It's a wild situation, and that's part of what we're trying to do here is uncover this mystery of how all these guys came to be, why they got buried in the same spot. So Gastonia lorymcwinniae is the full genus and species name, named after a gal called Lori McWhinney, who was working here with the Denver Museum of Nature and Science back in the 1990s. She discovered this site in the first place, and they worked here for a number of years and then moved on to other things. I'm working here with the Prehistoric Museum out of Price, Utah, at Utah State University. And yeah, shoot, let me show you around the quarry. And Ace Frio says, why do paleontologists all dress the same? We don't dress the same, as you'll see. So we've got two main pits that we're working on right now. all chock full of Gastonia bones. And I'll show you some of those. Yeah. And was it just as adorable IRL? I don't know. This dinosaur would have been very prickly, to say the least. Hey everybody, good to see you all again. Hello. Yeah. So we just got a huge raid. A raid is a good thing on Twitch, which means that, it's like 3,000 people who came in with Kit Boga. I was telling you about this last night, that people do scam baiting. Yeah, Kit Boga is one of the best at doing that. So thank you very much to Kit Boga for the raid. Phenomenal. So let me show you some of the more charismatic bones that we have here. Get out my laser pointer. No, I'm telling you, these are not going to look like a whole lot on camera, but, you know, try and use a little bit of imagination here. It's not imagination, it's just try and use more discerning eyes, I guess, as we're looking. But to start us off, we've got a rib.
I think my official name is Dig Daddy. That's what my apron says.
That is what your apron says.
That's Dig with a G, Dig Daddy, for anybody in chat who may have misheard that. That's our expedition lead over there, Josh Lively.
Hey there!
Yeah, curator of the Prehistoric Museum in Price. Josh, we just got a huge raid. There's like 3,000 people watching right now.
What? Whoa!
So, yeah.
Sweet!
Yeah, we're also doing a fundraiser too, so if anybody would care to donate to the Prehistoric Museum, even just a few dollars makes a difference.
Yeah, if anyone's got questions about what we're doing,
absolutely.
After we figure out what's going on here, how we're going to deal with these bones, then ask away.
Yeah. Back in a few minutes after, because Josh is going to be talking about this. Don't want to be too distracting. But then we'll show off some more of those bones. But we're digging up these fossils on public land, Bureau of Land Management, federal land. So this land belongs to you and me as, who wrote that song, This Land Is Your Land? It wasn't Pete Seeger, was it? Was it Woody Guthrie, I think, right? This land is your land, this land is my land. BLM land is awesome. Bureau of Land Management. Thank you, Murph on Earth, yeah. I've always wanted to write a paleontology version of that song. I think it'd be fun. Anywho, this is Bureau of Land Management, public land here, federal land, which means that we're digging here under permit. So all of these fossils that we're excavating, every single last one, it's going to go to the Prehistoric Museum in Price, Utah, which is an official BLM repository, Bureau of Land Management official facility. That means that these fossils are going to be held there in perpetuity, in the public trust for decades into the future. Long after we're all dead, these fossils are going to be studied by future paleontologists, enjoyed by the public. Some of them are going to go up on display, I'm sure. This is all part of trying to uncover the history of life on Earth and our place in that history as human beings. So, it's important stuff, if I may say so. Yeah. Points for Woody Guthrie. Thank you, Fake Doing. And it's great to be me. He says, this is awesome to see. One of my best friend's kids is graduating from college after this year. Going to do the same thing you were doing. Very, very cool. Yeah. I've been digging up dinosaurs nearly every summer since 2011. As a dinosaur paleontologist, as somebody who works on vertebrate fossils, especially dinosaurs, fieldwork is an important part of what I do. But you don't have to be a professional to do this kind of thing. Right now we've got a big crew of students from the University of Birmingham in the UK, and they're joining us for a few days, kind of learning how to dig, learning what field paleontology is all about. There's no sites like this in all of England. So they had to come out here to Utah to see the world's largest ankylosaur bone bed. But then we've got other people who are on the crew who are not scientists or at all. You know, we've got members of the local community. My point in saying this is that you, sitting at home, you can get involved in this kind of thing if you would like to. You could even be involved in a dig with this museum if you really wanted to be. We've got slim budgets in this discipline, in this field of science. Paleontology is not well funded, so the only person getting paid right now in the quarry is Josh, because he's the curator of the museum and he's salaried. Actually, I suppose Richard and Susie and Jim are also getting paid too by their respective institutions, but everybody else is a volunteer. I'm doing this, as volunteer work because I feel this is important and I want to help contribute to the science, you know. But you at home can do this too. And hey, Marcy Walks Dogs, hello, hello. And Jexy says, what's the largest whole fossil that you've helped uncover? None of the dinosaurs that I've ever helped excavate have been 100% complete, but some of them have been pretty good. Yeah, it's tricky to answer that question because sometimes you just have one skeleton there, and sometimes you have dozens of skeletons that are all mixed up. That's what we have here at this site. So in terms of richness of bone material, this site takes the cake. This is it. We've got dozens of these ankylosaur dinosaurs preserved here at this site. Dozens of Gastonia. It's, like I said, the most prolific ankylosaur site on the planet. We'll actually go talk to Jim and get his take on this, if he's not too busy. But yeah, if we're talking about a single largest skeleton, I don't know, I helped excavate a really big Triceratops in the Hell Creek my first summer in the field, 2011. The Yoshi's trike specimen. The critter's about the size of an elephant. So, not huge as far as dinosaurs go. But, yeah.
Josh!
He's listening.
He's a very good American.
What do you need? We can't understand your mapping system. It's
Can't sneeze, but I can. I still can yell.
Thank you so much.
Jim, everybody in chat's going to want to say hi to you, so,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, Chad. I was in better shape today.
It's good to have you here, though, Jim. Yeah. But this is Jim Kirkland, who pops into the chat, Paleo Jim, state paleontologist of Utah. And I've been working with Jim for, 4 years now in the field?
Something like that.
Yeah.
A few
But
years now.
Jim is one of the leading lights in the world on ankylosaurs. So it's good to have him here at the site. Tell us why Laurie's site is so important, Jim. What's special about this place?
Well, it's the biggest accumulation of ankylosaurs or thyreophorans anywhere on planet Earth that we know
We
of.
run the challenge of in
And
this quarry.
why?
We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
And we may have another one 5 miles west of here.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
BYU quarry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
You know, so did it happen twice? Is it part of the same? I doubt it. 5 miles from here. Yeah.
A 5 mile
But-
wide ankylosaur.
But it's showing repeated
So that should be
repeated
48,
behavior or
so that should be
something. That's
49
interesting.
there.
So
Or no.
Gastonia is a dinosaur that Jim actually described and discovered, right?
Yeah,
Sort of.
yeah.
Yeah. So
that would be right.
Jim also
So
discovered
40,
and named
40,
Utah
40,
Raptor. If we have any Utah Raptor fans in the
So that
chat,
should be 48.
this is the guy right here. So
Okay, so
yeah,
fine, but where
yeah.
is this
Can I get you anything, Jim?
No, I've got a cold drink here.
All right,
Just trying
nice.
to
So 40,
Cool.
make sure I'm not too much in people's way.
You're a perfect spot.
Yeah. So, anywho,
Rich was trying to get around this jacket, and I'm like, okay, I'm probably
gonna have to move at some point. Yeah.
his way. He's more flexible.
Well, so
than
if you
me.
continue that line over, I think
Over here we've got this side of the quarry. This pit over here is much less dense, but we've got much bigger bones. So
I'll help you.
under these plaster and burlap caps, we've got a bunch of limb bones of these dinosaurs in here.
Show them the theropod.
And yeah, we saw that briefly yesterday.
yeah, there we go.
But have you got it over here, Jeff?
On top right here.
Oh yeah, nice.
And the rest of it goes down back into the wall.
Yeah. So this is really special because there's a little bit of plaster on it, that white stuff. But the fact that that bone is hollow right there is really important. So this is potentially. Tell us about it, Jim.
Whatever.
Well,
From 47
can't tell you a lot,
47 east. Okay.
but
That was the question I was trying to get.
you know, it's the end of a theropod limb bone, and certainly, you
That's
know,
why
that big on that end.
I do the.
I'm thinking it might, if it's from the bigger animal
Yeah.
that we have clocked. I mean, there could be smaller animals in here, you know, because it was thought from this shape it may be, you know, tibia, but I think it might be the end of a fibula.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But until they see the whole bone, you
Yeah.
know, it's,
And more of it's going into the
Yeah.
matrix right
So-
there.
Almost finished over there. Second.
We'll find more of it.
yeah. So it'll be known for sure eventually.
Yeah.
But given the size of it, it's way smaller than I would think the tibia for the animal, you know, the
Yeah.
claw,
The Utah
the
Raptor
big claw
type
is from
critter
there.
that we
Yeah.
have here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty convinced it's not Utahraptor ostramazorum. So I usually refer to it as CF Utahraptor.
Right.
But
We'll see.
it's likely as not to be a different genus.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just been working on the Utahraptor block with Jason Napoli the last week.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, and convinced him that there is indeed 2 taxa in that block.
All right.
We have a growth series, because he was really going, I think it's got a growth series of Utahraptor, which is my initial hypothesis. And I was able to convince him there was a small taxa too.
Yeah.
But we also do have a growth series of Utahraptor in the same block. But is it relative to a pack of Utahraptors, or is it the bait, the dead iguanodonts?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, brought in a bunch of meat-eating dinosaurs
Sure.
of more than one taxa to feast on and get caught.
We got a question. When you say a small theropod, what size are we talking about?
Probably about 2 meters long.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, pretty
So like,
small.
Like Velociraptor
Yeah, the
size, maybe?
pelvis smaller than Velociraptor.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the ilia are like that big with the sacrum.
It's the upper hip bone, yeah.
Fully adult,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
that big. Where Utahraptor, they're like that
huge.
big. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
and even we have a juvenile Utahraptor with a ilium about that long with the sacrum. And it's completely unfused sacrum. They're just they haven't fused at all, and it's a very different looking ilium. You know, it's like super primitive. I mean, really primitive. And you know, we got scapcoracoids of these animals too. They're nothing like a velociraptorine scapcoracoid. Nothing like them. You know, way more primitive.
Yeah.
You know, so basically. You know, I'm going to be long retired before those papers are done.
Right.
But I put James in charge. You know.
Oh, James Napoli, yeah.
James Napoli. What am I name?
It's been a long day, yeah.
Yeah. But James Napoli, because young, knows his stuff, hungry, and he knows what he's got in front of him. He's pretty psyched.
Yeah.
You know?
Nice.
And it will be a very different story than we had a decade ago.
Right, yeah.
Very
That's
different
exciting.
story, yeah. I'm really charged. But I was getting really surprised that he wasn't thinking there was more than Utahraptor in there for a long time, because, of course, another colleague, Mark Lowen, doesn't think there's any Utahraptor in there. Right. The other big monster theropod in there, he's going, no, that's another species of Utahraptor. I'll name it after you, Jim. I'm like, no. Because the thing with that site, the type locale Utahraptor is behind us about, a kilometer, a mile.
Yeah, yeah.
South of us. It's on the shore of the same lake as the Mega Block quicksand site was.
Yeah.
Same lake system. Same size animal for the adult. I mean, it's like, Occam's right. It's not impossible. You could have 2 big,
Sure.
giant raptors, 2 species in the same environment. But
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not very likely that would be the case.
I mean, maybe 6 miles apart. It's just.
And from the same time, like crucially.
Yeah. But I didn't, go, with that. But saying, well, this is a different taxa. And actually, Nick Longrich was the first one that really convinced me of that. Looking at the pelvae, and it's like, yeah, that's a mature pelvis. That isn't. But I thought Napoli was on board then, but now he's on board.
Nice.
That new one, and we got 2 skulls for it.
Oh,
Both those little skulls are for the new animal.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we're gonna have mountable skeletons of that new animal now.
This right here.
But it's gonna be years of work.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And we've been discussing. We've even discussed maybe repacking the block and shipping it to North Carolina.
So they can work on it there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't talked to my superiors.
Right.
But I think they would love the space.
Oh yeah, they'd love to be able to get rid of that for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not against it. It's like, well, I'm not gonna be here when that's
As long as somebody
done.
works on it.
Yeah.
Once the science gets done.
Yeah.
I
And get
agree.
Irmis, it's a used specimen.
Yeah.
And Ermis, I think, is on board with it as what we might end up doing.
Nice.
I'm going to try to see if we can get Lindsay to send out one of her preparators, like Lisa,
Nice.
or someone for like a month or so. Maybe get a room right up the street at monthly, rates, and spend some time working on it, playing with it, discussing with Don and I how we would pack it to move it. Still movable. That frame is still very stable platform.
Yeah.
So it can be done. Yeah.
Somebody's asking if this is live. It's not. You're watching a recording right now. Yeah.
And and hopefully I will be live later.
You will be, Jim. It's good to have you here. Shoot. Yeah.
But
Cool. It's neat to see this site get worked on. It's neat to see so many bones coming out here.
No, it's an incredible site. I mean, it really is. We got, we have dozens and dozens of bone beds, and trying to get, I'm so happy. LA County is so happy with what's happened at Don's Ridge South. They got like 100 bones out of there. And that was just a testing. And Josh has, multiple sites of this size range. I don't know who's, I hope they hire someone to replace me that'll keep going at Doling's Bowl. But, I certainly don't want to see Doling's Bowl stop. If they hire someone in Lawrence in the Uinta Basin, it's
they
like,
wouldn't get work done,
who's going to work on it?
So Doling's Bowl is the site that I've been working at for the past 4 years now. I streamed for 3 of those years, so we were just there last month.
Yeah, and it's only 4 miles pretty much due.
Oh, okay, only 4 miles that
or
way.
maybe 5.
Yeah, okay.
Due east of here. Stratigraphically, it's
Glad I
quite a
got
bit
that right. I
lower.
said 5 miles earlier.
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
about
so.
that, yeah. But almost due east-west. I mean, these sites in here, and as I pointed out in my talks recently and my national monument proposals, is, we've got along this 5 miles on either side of Yellow Cat Road, probably the greatest concentration of type specimens of dinosaurs pretty much in such a small area anywhere in the world. And they're spanning over a 20 million year time interval. So it's, we could have 60 or 70 dinosaur taxa out of this little area. And of course, it's still a free-for-all for the public to come in and vandalize sites. So it's like, how do we protect them, but also keep the work going? And in my mind, is set up interpretive sites, and
lots of signage.
I mean, I like to put a building on that well pad above Andrew's site. And they could be running digs out here. People, they have tours, but Dawn of the Cretaceous, fossil beds, National Monument.
Oh, yeah. I still got to work on that logo for you, Jim. I need to refine that a little bit further. I'll be doing that this fall.
I've been sharing it with the other logo pretty widely.
So it's not done yet, so I need to make you a more polished one. I've been seeing you sharing that on social media.
But right now, the way our government is, we have some pretty conservative guys in the legislature, though, that think, maybe we should do this and show the Democrats how a national monument should be done through the legislature.
Playing politics like that, one side against the other. That's how you get stuff done, I guess.
If you guys will do it, I'll go for it,
Fair.
And the model is really different, It's a model.
Get your fingerprints. Get your fingerprints on that.
Anyway, let me walk around a little bit more and show some other parts of the setup. We'll be back, Jim. We'll be back.
No, I'm going to have to head out of here before too long.
Okay.
I'm going to drive that road a couple more times.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm convinced that's the same level. Brooks will never believe it.
I don't know what that bone is right there overlapping.
There we go.
Hold it off.
I don't know where it's a little bit more quiet over here. But, ladies and gents and NBs, that's Dr. Jim Kirkland, the state paleontologist for the state of Utah, the guy who originally named Gastonia, this genus of armored dinosaur that we're digging up. He also discovered and named Utah raptor as well. It's funny, when I was a kid, I grew up watching all kinds of different dinosaur documentaries and stuff, and Jim was featured in a lot of those. So I've been working with him for the past 4 or 5 years now, and it's been really cool. We've got some papers that we're working on together coming up. Maybe a popular book. Yeah, it's great to have him here. Yeah. And let's see. And Chris Outlander, that makes sense. So he's funded by the state. Yeah, so Jim's a state employee with the Utah Department of Natural Resources, the DNR. And yeah, so Jim came out to visit this site, which is being run by Josh Lively, who's curator of another museum run by the state, sort of. Utah State University's Prehistoric Museum. That's where all of these fossils are headed to at the end of this season. That's what we're collecting for. So yeah, but we're all volunteering here. They're getting paid because they're salaried, state employees. But everybody who showed up here is a volunteer. None of us are getting paid, obviously. Well, I guess except for me, streaming on Twitch. This is my full-time job, streaming. But that's how I pay the bills as a paleontologist. Let me answer some other questions. Yeah. Delwez says, what would be your dream job in paleo? This, if it paid a little bit better. Yeah. If we were able to grow this channel to the point where I could make a really comfortable living, I'd be able to do a lot of really, really cool things. Take you all over the world, different field sites, different museums, interview different paleontologists. Yeah, the sky's the limit on Twitch. I love being on here. It's been a dream come true, and it's only getting better. So again, thank you so much to Kit Boga for the raid. I really appreciate it. This helps out, you know? Yeah. And watching Yobax says, what is an armored dinosaur? Let me show you. I've got a little plastic model of our particular armored dinosaur, Gastonia. These are stout, four-legged, plant-eating dinosaurs with a beak on the front and then big armored back, all kinds of armor plates and spikes. So this is Gastonia right here. Lovely armored dinosaur. So this is the best model that I could find that's commercially available of Gastonia. So it gives you a pretty good idea of what this critter is like. Yeah. It's about 15 feet long, so about 5 meters from snout to tail. It's not a big dinosaur, but compared to most animals walking around today, it's pretty big. You know, if you had an animal like this, the size of a small pickup truck, you'd be, yeah, if this were walking through your front yard, you'd be pretty surprised, I think. Rightfully so. Gastonia. The species of Gastonia that we have here is called Gastonia lori-mcwinniae. I said this earlier, but I'm repeating it for everybody who maybe wasn't here, wasn't listening. Lori McWhinney was a woman who was volunteering with the Denver Museum of Nature and Science back in the 1990s, and she discovered this site in the first place. So they had a team that was walking through here prospecting for fossils, walking along looking for anything poking out of the ground, and she found some armored dinosaur fossils here. Called the team over, they dug in, and this turns out to be the biggest and richest ankylosaur site, armored dinosaur site in the world. So we've got more bones and armor plates and spikes of armored dinosaurs here than any other place on the planet. This entire hillside here, this whole hill, every place you dig in, if you get down to the right layer, you will find more of the bones of these guys, which is wild. There could be hundreds, there could be 1,000 animals here, all buried in the same place. And we're trying to figure out why, you know? Yeah. Do you think maybe they tunneled or dug beds into the ground? No, so let's talk a little bit about how they may have been buried here in the first place. Let me get some water, and then we'll go talk to Michael Chiappone, who's our resident taphonomist. So he's working on how these animals got buried here in the first place. How do you get a site like this? How do you get so many animals in one place? He's trying to figure it out. All right, let's go bug Michael for a minute. If he's not too busy. So Michael's a PhD student at the University of Minnesota. So he's working on his doctoral degree. And
I'm not saying it yet.
oh, what do we got here?
I'm saying might.
Howdy. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. What do you think we have? I know you're not going to say it yet, but
I'm not going to say that
what are you
it
not
is.
saying?
Potentially, she may have found the first invertebrate that I know of from the site. This looks to me like a gastropod, like a very small gastropod, which I was expecting to find in here. So it would not be weird for this to be here.
Can I see her?
Yes, you can. It's a little tiny. Look
So
at
gastropod that's the group that includes slugs and snails. So it could be a snail shell potentially.
Yeah, we're out in a floodplain environment, and so finding things like small snails and things, and there's what looks like probably a pond deposit here. They should be here. It would not be weird for them to be here.
Which is unusual, like why we haven't found any yet.
Right. It's the same as why it was weird until day before yesterday that we didn't really have a good handle on if we had plants at this site or not.
Right, yeah.
And we're still not 100% sure, but there is one thing that looks like it could be plant. So we're starting to potentially find things that should definitely be here.
Right.
But at the moment are vastly outweighed by our Gastonia.
Right, yeah. It's just Gastonia town here, so it's cool to find some other critters.
Yeah, it gives us a little bit of a look at the rest of the ecosystem.
Right, yeah.
Besides this mass death assemblage.
So we got a question. Do you have a geologist on site? Wouldn't that be useful in a place like this? That's Michael right here.
Yep. 4 years of geology at UT Austin, doing my
yeah.
PhD in geology at University of Minnesota. So
Nice,
that's me. When I'm not doing dead things, I'm doing rocks.
So paleontologists, we're kind of like an unholy amalgam of geology and biology. And that's, some of us lean more toward one or the other. And I don't know, Michael's very strong on geology, so yeah. Can you tell us a little bit, if you've got a moment?
Sure.
What's your basic read on this site so far? Like, how do we have so many of these armored dinosaurs here? I know I've asked you this question before.
Yeah.
6 people watching right now.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, how do you Michael Pony? I guess I should say that if there's so many new people.
Yeah.
I'm a PhD student over at the University of Minnesota, and I hopped on this dig about 3 years ago. So, yeah, my specialty is taphonomy, which is the study of how fossils become fossils. So my read on this site so far as a taphonomist, someone especially in my case who specifies on looking at how bones move and sort and bury in and around river environments, I don't know how these animals died. And I think that's going to be a challenge to find.
Because the thing that buried them is not the same thing that killed them.
Right, because there's not necessarily, they can be the same thing, but it's not necessarily the same thing.
Right, not at this site.
But at least here I am of the opinion that we are dealing with, first of all, not a river environment. We are out of a river, we're out on the floodplain.
Yeah.
This, material that we find here is this really fine-grained, silty sand that is being developed into a paleosol, which is a fossil soil. Gives you this rich green color, or in some cases more of a purpley color.
So this is like a muddy or sandy floodplain that's turning to soil.
Right, exactly.
Before it turns to stone, obviously.
And we know we're nearby rivers because both below and above this site, there are these blocky channel sands that contain what we call crossbeds, which are from where the dunes and ripples that move along on the bottom of a river are deposited and for, at least until the rock is returned to the surface. So we can tell that there was significant water flow going on. In here we don't find those. So between those two things, we're pretty certain we're on the floodplain. However, we do have evidence of significant water flow in this area. Because we find, let me see if I have one around. Yeah, here we go. These little pebbles sitting around.
Which is weird to find in such a fine-grained sand, right?
Right. It makes this paleosol pretty poorly sorted, even though it's vastly dominated by this fine-grained, silty sand mix.
Yeah. And when you say poorly sorted, you mean that there's different weird grain sizes that don't seem like they should go together. You get small stuff, you get big stuff.
Yeah, so it makes it technically poorly sorted in terms of grain size. And a lot of these pebbles are pretty well worn around the edges.
Yeah.
These are very rounded pebbles, and we've even over there found them all the way up to the size of small cobbles, about this big.
Yeah.
And what that's telling us is that from the floodplain.
Right. Yeah.
They don't match at all what the floodplain is made of.
Yeah.
They had to be brought in.
Yeah.
And when you consider that sand and silt is a lot easier to move than pebbles and cobbles up to that big are. That indicates that there is some sort of water flow that came through here that deposited them throughout the site.
Right.
Not only that, but we also find them concentrated in and around bone jams, so to speak, kind of like a log jam,
Yeah.
but for bones. We'll find these little packs of just a bunch of pebbles, 20 or 30 of them all packed into one area, and that suggests to me that there was some significant scouring going on.
Right.
The sand was moving around the bones and redepositing pebbles behind them.
Interesting. Okay.
And so what that indicates is that there needed to be some kind of overbank flow or flood that occurred in order to deposit the rocks in which these bones are found.
It's almost like a river getting too high and overtopping a levee or breaking through it or something like that.
Right, exactly. There are different kinds of overbank flows. There are two that I generally distinguish between. There's a generalized overbank flow where it overtops the levee and now it is washed out into the area, which actually, hey Erica.
Yeah.
Would you mind grabbing me my my little science-y pack over there?
Yeah, sure.
My little binder?
And sorry I took your spot too, Eric.
That's fine. I'm happy to share.
I appreciate it.
Science binder.
Thank you, thank you.
So, this is what that scouring process actually looks like.
Okay,
Sketched it here, where we have a bone like a limb bone. Water is flowing this way.
Okay.
And as the water moves around it, you have the formation of these eddies, these vortices, around the back of the bones.
Right.
And while the water continues flowing around this way at the same speed, right behind the bone, it sort of swirls around and becomes slower. And so the pebbles that are moving forward down the water flow end up in the pit created by the bone as sand moves past it, and that slows them down and deposits them inside.
Gotcha.
And if we zoom out,
Good deal. Keep working on that.
you might have something like this.
Oh, so first with this,
Yeah.
we can tell what direction the water was flowing by where the pebbles are. So.
Exactly, and we think at this site that's roughly this direction.
Okay.
Roughly.
Nice, because we see a consistent pattern around all those bones.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there are two general kinds of overbank flows that we can think about. I'll draw both of them. You can have a river that's doing its thing, and around the sides you have a levee,
Yeah.
and I'm going to exaggerate it here.
Okay.
But generally you have a high point right around the edge of the river,
Yeah.
and then low floodplains,
Uh-huh.
FP. And this is the channel here,
The river channel. Yeah.
with flow moving this way.
Okay.
And completely overtop the levee and have water basically spread all throughout these areas.
All along the bank, it would just flood over everywhere.
Right.
Water.
At which point you would expect, flow to roughly move the same direction
Yeah.
as the river.
That makes sense.
Or you can have something like this,
So drawing another river channel there. Yeah.
where if we have the channel and we have the floodplains out to the sides, again with a levee on each side.
Yep.
What you can have is the classic situation of a levee break,
Yeah.
where the shear stress on the side of the levee becomes too much, pouring out the side, and the water on through, very much like what you see, on big classic Mississippi River floods
Yeah.
here in the U.S. The water now reroutes out of the channel and out onto the floodplain in a big fan like
Right.
this. And you'll have these little channels inside,
Almost like a delta or something.
very much like a delta.
Yeah.
And this whole thing is called a crevasse splay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can write that. Crevasse splay.
That's what that structure is called, that fan-shaped.
And the reason it's called a crevasse splay is you're making a crevasse in the levee, and you make these crevasse channels
Splay out.
where the water, is moving through primarily, and then it creates a splay of sediment. The splay is what is doing all the sediment deposition. The sediment is moving out of here
Right.
and out onto the floodplain, and you can make a ponded water out here too.
Sure.
The case, but you can imagine that for these little pebbles, which I've got one right here, that is an easy way to source the pebbles out onto the floodplain.
Right. They
Is to
come from the
derive
levee
them
bed. Yeah.
from the levee. And when the levee breaks,
Uh-huh.
you then have these pebbles and all of this other sediment that was derived from the levee spread out onto the floodplain. And if you, say, have, some dead ankylosaurs laying out on the floodplain, if I make a really crappy looking Gastonia, you can then have the opportunity to take the bones of these guys, which there certainly seem to be many. We have a minimum number of individuals of at least 40.
Yeah.
Certainly more than that. I'm not going to draw 40 ankylosaurs on here. But all of their bones can then be moved around by the water
Right.
across the length of this splay. And these things on average are not that big. We're talking on the order of, in terms of the splay, like something like a square kilometer maybe, maximum.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these bones might get caught on each other
Yeah.
and turn into what we call a bone jam, which is what you're seeing here. There's just a
like a log
total
jam, but
jumble of bones.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think is probably creating this site, is something like this.
Nice. That makes a lot of sense.
That is my current depositional model. That's what we would call it in the geology world.
Very cool. It makes a lot of sense given what we see. Yeah.
Potentially so. It's a hypothesis, so we may well change our mind on what's going on, but for now, that is the running hypothesis.
Awesome. So thinking as scientists here, making testable hypotheses, what sort of evidence could we find that would nullify this, that would say, okay, we don't have a crevasse splay?
One of them would be if on or the pebble scour deposits, any indication that we can get of flow direction. In a crevasse splay, the flow direction is essentially doing this. It's splaying out, right?
Yeah.
So you'll have across
fan,
your site multiple different flow directions. So if we found that all of our flow directions went exactly the same way, that would maybe suggest something more like a regular overbank flow,
Right.
where things are just moving all in one direction.
That makes sense, yeah.
If we do find that there are multiple flow directions all moving in sort of a splay, a
And they all kind
fan,
of converge on a point, like where the levee breaks.
right,
Yeah.
that would be really good evidence that this is a
Nice.
crevasse splay.
Cool. So you're going to be looking at the distribution of pebbles around the bones here and over at the other pit and seeing if it's a fan or if it's one uniform direction.
Exactly.
Nice. Very cool. Awesome. Thanks so much, Michael. I appreciate your time.
Yeah,
And
of course.
These diagrams are fantastic. Thank you so much for drawing this.
Of course.
Michael's also a very accomplished artist. Where can people find you online if we want to do some plugs?
Well, I'm not as active as I used to be. I am on the place that was once called Twitter.
Yeah.
Under my name, Michael Chiappone, Chiappone. And I will hopefully be releasing a paper on this exact thing in not too long, so
Nice.
keep an eye out for that. I'll try to publicize that a little bit.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I guess I also, hopefully along with that paper, I'll be doing an educational video, which I have a YouTube channel called Earth Encompassed,
Earth Encompassed. Okay.
where I do educational stuff on geology and paleobiology.
Let's get a link to that in the chat going. Earth Encompassed. ENCOMPASSED?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the main places you can find me.
Awesome. Yeah, and I hear you've even got some original music that you're...
I do, yeah, both for previous videos and certainly for the new one. So keep an eye out.
That's going to be really cool. Yeah. I think somebody was actually reciting lyrics to that in the chat.
When the levee breaks,
Yeah.
there'll be no place to stay, and certainly for the bones, there wasn't.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Michael. This is awesome.
Of course, thank you very much.
Cool. And thank you for letting me take your spot here, Erica. I'll vacate it now. And yeah, let's take a look around at some of those bones, actually. Let me go into the other side of the quarry. But yeah. Frisco RPG says neat. Hey, thanks. Yeah. But yeah, let's see. Well, that's neat. Perkunas, yeah. I've got my own Pleistocene site that I'm hoping to work at in the Bay Area, back in Fremont, back home in California. So maybe we'll even have some of that at some point in the future. I saw in the chat somebody was asking me what my specialty is at this site. Well, I don't know. I've been digging dinosaurs for about a decade and a half at this point. I think this is season 15 for me, something like that. Well, it depends how you count it. You can have multiple seasons in a year. We've had like 4 this year. Anywho, I'm just helping out with general excavation, lending a hand wherever I can with setting up shade tarps, teaching people how to tie the knots on those, helping pack in supplies and do all of that. And also trying to raise some funds for the museum as well. Operations like ours here usually operate on, we're working with like a shoestring budget, you know? A few hundred or a few $1,000. Every dollar that gets donated makes a difference. There's like no overhead for this sort of thing. Every dollar that gets contributed goes directly toward buying supplies, digging equipment, fuel, plaster and burlap, and all the things that we need to do an excavation like this. So, yeah. But yeah. And let's see. Is there a link to donate? Yep, there should be several in the chat there, or in the title, excuse me. Yeah, thank you there, Claire Burr and Lenina. Beautiful. Yeah. And is this a new dig? Asks NPC Upvote. This site has actually been worked since the 1990s, off and on. So the museum, the Denver Museum of Nature and Science in Colorado, that way, they were working here in the 90s and the early 2000s. And then they closed down for a while. They closed down this site, I mean. And Josh's museum, the Prehistoric Museum, that we're working with here now, they first started working here 2 years ago, 2023. And you can actually see part of that excavation in the Walking with Dinosaurs reboot that premiered this year. So, !WWD. That'll bring you a link to if you'd like to see that. It's episode 3 of Walking with Dinosaurs. Oh, yeah. No, Sporky, the BLM didn't close the site. It was the Denver Museum just kind of lost interest or decided to move on to other things. They had hundreds of bones, probably thousands of bones of these ankylosaurs. But this site could continue for decades and decades. Again, it's this entire hillside should be just chock full of these dinosaurs. Everywhere we dig a test pit, we find more. So it's all over the place. And this is a big hill, you know? We think this is about 2 acres, so about 8,000 square meters here. So all along this flat surface up here, you dig in down to that layer, you get down to the bone layer, you'll find bones. It's pretty remarkable. Yeah. And we're getting a raid. Well. Betty the Rat Daddy, hello, welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. How are things? Yeah, welcome to Paleontologizing. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. A paleontologist is a scientist who studies fossils. I mostly work on dinosaur fossils, although I might be branching out into some other groups of critters too. But I'm out here in eastern Utah, digging up dinosaurs and interviewing the other paleontologists and students and workers on site. I'm here to show you what it's really like to dig up dinosaurs, you know, firsthand. Show, don't tell, right? So, welcome. Yeah. And are you taking volunteers, says Watching You Back? Absolutely, yeah. If you get in contact with the museum, they could use you. This dig is going to go for another 2 weeks. I've got about another 4 days here, it looks like, before I head back home to California. And, yeah, it's a good time. And my wife is going to love this, says Betty the Rat. Excellent, yeah. And thank you, Reptilian Space Pope. How was your stream, Betty the Rat Daddy? I hope it was real good. I'm glad you came in here. Welcome. Let me know if you've got any questions. That's the whole point of these live broadcasts, is for you to ask questions and for me to try and answer them for you in real time, you know. This is the best way that I know of for doing science outreach, for showing people how fossil science really works, you know. So, and CTWM says, I have a question. Typically, how deep does one have to dig to find a bone layer? It always depends. So, yeah, this is a question that I get a lot. Like, how do you find bones in the first place? How do you discover a dinosaur? And, here, let me drink some water and I'll go through my spiel. I'll tell you how it's done. But I gotta make sure I'm staying hydrated out here in the middle of the desert. It's hot and dry, and I'm doing a lot of talking. So, So, say you want to find a particular kind of dinosaur. Say you want to find Utah raptor. Let's assume that Utahraptor's already been discovered and named, like in real life. Say you want to go out and find more Utahraptor for your museum. How do you go about doing that? Well, as every paleontologist knows, fossils are found in sedimentary rocks. So these are rocks that were laid down often by water carrying sediment. So ancient rivers, lakes, deltas, oceans, stuff like that, where you've got water that's dropping down sediment over time. You get like mud and sand and silt and stuff at the bottom of a river or a lake. Given enough time, that stuff turns to stone. It lithifies. So rock are the rocks that finding fossils in igneous or metamorphic rocks. You're not going to find it in volcanic strata like we have here. And you have to find sedimentary rock of the right age. So we're working here in the Cedar Mountain Formation. These rocks are about 130 million years old. And and then you got to find the right place too. Utah is where Utahraptor is from. The Cedar Mountain Formation here in Utah is where Utahraptor is from. There will be Utahraptor in some rocks, probably a little bit lower than this, where we're at right now. But yeah, anyway, once you got your rocks of the right age and the right type and the right place, you got to make sure that you're looking at the right kind of, land ownership. So we're digging here on public land. So we get our permits together to dig on this federal public land, on Bureau of Land Management land. And then we go out and we look. That's when the prospecting begins. So prospecting is how we find the fossils in the first place, once we've checked all those other boxes, once we know we're in the right spot. And you go out and look. And that basically entails walking along a hillside, down through gullies, up over cliffs, stuff like that. And you're looking for bits of fossil bone that are eroding out. So it's not like you saw in Jurassic Park where they have this high-tech, sound resonance imaging device. That's not real. It doesn't. That sort of thing has been tried. It doesn't work. The way that we find fossils is with the good old Mark I eyeball. So you walk along, you look at the ground, you look at the hillsides, and you look for anything that might happen to look like bone. So you do a lot of picking things up. This is definitely not bone. There's some quartz in there. Not bone. So you just keep doing that until you find that characteristic texture of bone, and then you hopefully find some of that. You follow a trail of it up. You follow a trail of it up into where it's coming out of the hillside. You find the source and you dig in. That's called prospecting, and that's how we find these things in the first place. That's how this site was originally discovered back in the 1990s. Does that make sense? Yeah. And yeah. And let's see. Let me scroll through chat a little bit more. Make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Yeah. And thank you, Betty the Rat Daddy, for the gift subs. Holy cow, here. In celebration of those gift subs, let's do a little analog alert here, shall we? I know we have silent alerts as our overlays right now, but in honor of your generosity there and your raid, let's hear from Gastonia here. This is our armored dinosaur that we're excavating. It's a little plastic model. The real animal would have been about 15 feet long, about 5 meters in length. But here, in honor of those gift subs, a word from Gastonia. There we go. Here, let's hear another one. How's that? Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Good stuff. Put my sunglasses. There we go. So anywho, let's go over there and take a look at what's going on here. I think they might be doing some jacketing at the moment.
They just put out the plaster.
Oh, nice. All right.
I'm getting out of the way.
I'm going to do the opposite.
I'm not a huge fan of getting my...
Oh, yeah.
I like my hands dirty, not plastery.
It does get pretty messy. So over here in this pit, we've got a whole bunch of larger Gastonia bones.
Oh yeah, it's
Some of these are getting jacketed right now.
That is definitely the one thing. It's hard to screw up bad on plastering.
Yeah, you say that, Jim.
It's hard. I've seen it happen. I have definitely seen some incredibly bad plastering jobs.
So you'll see some examples right here of bones that have already been jacketed. So we create these protective plaster and burlap cocoons around the bones to safely get them out of the ground, transport them back to the laboratory. If we didn't do this, they would completely crumble. We need to basically encase them in a protective cocoon.
Now we're starting to map with small drones.
What's that?
We're starting to map with small drones. Drones are becoming the new...
I heard you talking about that earlier, Jim. I was talking
I
about
heard you say we don't
Mind the bone.
not for
like-
prospecting.
how much we use for
Yeah.
drones.
No, I mean here. Let me
Yeah,
get a little bit closer.
Go ahead and try me.
But here, I think it's safe to step here, and then here. Okay. No, you're right, Jim. I was talking. People were asking if we do prospecting with drones.
Yeah, but you can create facies models. Yes, it is worth climbing that dang cliff.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I mean, That's why we're doing the Canyonlands, of course. You know, it's like you can climb 1,000 feet and go.
Right.
That was a waste of time. You know, because
For sure,
the way
yeah.
the lip is, you can't tell how good it is behind there.
Yeah.
I've got a method you could use, I reckon, to prospect with drones.
Really?
It was inspired by talking to Jeff last year, who
Okay,
tells me
okay.
that lots of the bones fluoresce under UV light. So I don't know how it would work, except that you would need to, if you flew a drone at night up and down an area with a blue light attached, and wait for the bone to fluoresce, then I reckon it would be a shorter and easier way to spot the bone.
Potentially, yeah. We get a lot of scorpions for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they fluoresce. Well, you could get scorpions or bones.
Certain things like salt push and stuff fluoresce like crazy too.
Yeah.
You know, the way they concentrate salt.
Are there other rocks in here that
A lot of the roots
fluoresce?
fluoresce.
Temperature.
Yeah.
No, not that much.
Interesting.
Some
Okay.
of our
I like them.
Yeah.
histosols, the solidified peats,
Uh-huh.
they fluoresce. And what's neat with the ones that have a lot of transparent stuff,
Yeah.
you put a black light up and stuff fluorescent inside the thing. It's like, really looks cool.
No.
Oh, that's neat. That would
Yeah, so you know where I'm at.
go to a party with black lights, having a big cabochon of that.
That would be cool.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but some of them, you know, you see these structures deep in the clear agate.
Oh, I'll get a little bit wetter.
Hey, let me get in here and just kind of showcase how this works.
Okay, keep it rolled up before you fold
We've got
them out.
students learning how to do some
So
jacketing
go
right
ahead and pull
now.
that out. We kind of got to work quick.
So I've shown this a million times on stream before, but I know there's a lot of new people watching.
Okay, that's good. So open it
So
up.
this is almost like an old-timey cast on a broken leg or something
So we'll
like
start on the
that.
sides. I'll help you get it right down as low as we can. There, okay. Now you want to smooth it out. There you go, perfect. And get all the air bubbles worked out that you can.
Nice. See, this is already really white because they put layers on that. In this case, it would be paper towel or toilet paper, or I suppose loo roll, as folks from the UK might say.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll kind of help you out.
Bog roll, yeah. I guess that's the less posh way to say it, right?
Or more posh.
Or more posh. Oh, okay, okay. I have much to learn, clearly. Yeah.
Yep, just like the gypsy.
Anyway, for everybody who's just joining us, we've got Dr. Richard Butler here and Dr. Susanna Maidmont from the UK, from the University of Birmingham. And they brought a bunch of students here who are learning how to dig up dinosaurs, do paleontological fieldwork out here in the Utah desert. There's not a lot of sites like this in the UK. Huh, Jim?
There's some great sites.
Oh, there are certainly some great sites in the UK, but nothing quite this dense with dinosaur bone, I wouldn't think. I don't mean to be casting aspersions.
No, the mega bone beds. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane how many of these mega bone beds we've got.
Yeah.
I mean, it's characteristic of these rocks. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
bone bed on bone bed on bone bed. Every one of which could be worked on for more than 100 years. You know,
Yeah.
like how do we keep the work going? Because in any of these bone beds, you find the rare stuff.
You find the common things first.
You know,
obviously.
Hanksville Burpee.
Yeah.
You know, I would give these guys a permit to dig up Hanksville Burpee in a minute.
Right.
Bring it back to Britain. Take it with you.
And Jim can say that as Utah State paleontologist.
No, I can't give them the permit.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but like that, it means a lot coming from you, is what I'm saying.
I've brought that up with the BLM, and they'll never would we let stuff leave the country. Like, my.
Rather have it erode out, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like, why can't the University of Tokyo come in commit to like a 5-year,
Yeah, yeah.
10-year project. Doing good science.
Yeah.
Stuff's going into a publicly accessible repository.
Yeah.
Who cares if it's in Japan?
Yep. That would also severely undercut the market for commercial paleontology too, which I don't think would be a bad thing.
I don't,
We got
Yeah.
a little bit.
So who knows? Maybe in the future. Yeah.
I mean, some of our
Jim
rules
Kirkland for president.
just screw up getting science done.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Yeah.
I want to learn stuff.
Yeah.
Hoarding stuff for the sake of hoarding is like very counterproductive.
Oh, Saurian Horror in chat says, I've worked at the Burby Quarry. Very cool. Yeah.
That's a great site.
It really is.
Goes for 2 kilometers.
Yeah, that's nuts.
200 dinosaur national monuments is what Hanksville Burpee is.
That's amazing. Yeah. Just incredible.
End to end, 200. It goes for 2 kilometers. It's good for the whole distance.
That's impressive.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. It's like, as I joke,
Yeah.
you could have 10 different groups working
Yep.
in that bench on that channel, none of which would be in sight of each other.
Yeah. There are incredible wonders out here in the Rocky Mountain West. So,
I mean, we need rules. We don't want people just
Yeah.
hot and bone to
Yeah.
destroy. But to just, not permit institutions, I mean, I would totally be supportive of the Natural History Museum of London coming out and getting a permit and doing a site.
yeah. It'd be good for the science as a whole, I don't know. And as scientists, we tend to scoff at borders a little bit,
I'm not about them buying our dinosaurs.
Maybe we won't talk about that on screen, but yeah.
To dig the
Yeah.
Before it sets.
All right. Any other questions in the chat? Let me know. Oh, and this is Connor. That's right, Connor. Jim was the one that told me to go work with Josh at the Dino Fest in Salt Lake. That's the reason I'm here. That's Connor in chat says you're the reason that he came out here in the first place. He just left a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So yeah. Good stuff.
We need more students doing theses projects on some of this stuff. It's like, oh man. Sadly, right now, a lot of programs aren't taking on grad students.
That's true. They don't have
because
the funding. Yeah.
there's no funded positions for grad students now.
Yeah.
They pulled so many grants back.
It's rough for science in the U.S. right now. So we're lucky to be here right now.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Well, we have to figure out other ways to skin these cats.
Yeah.
It's like there are other ways to do it.
Yep.
And setting up, come in and, you got to dig for more than one day. I don't like dig for a day. It's too quick and dirty.
People don't learn
Yeah,
enough.
and people want to make a discovery in one day.
Yeah. That's not how it
but
works.
coming in and saying, 3 days, you have to commit for a few days.
Yeah.
Have properly trained volunteers and students to oversee. Like when I did Dynamation, we had one trained person for every 3 people.
Nice.
Working. And basically, we ensured, someone starts finding a skull.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got to move you out. We got to do this right.
Yeah.
And I get yelled at. It's like, well, they're paying Jim.
Yeah, but
And
this is
it's like,
science. This isn't some Mickey Mouse thing. Yeah.
And they can work with me hand in hand. But I'm going to be taking the lead on that.
For something as important as a skull. Yeah. Oh, nice work, fellas. Good job.
But no question, that's a way to bring in money and fund students to be working and supervising and
Certainly.
And maybe pulling a thesis project out of the project.
Yep.
But we have, we need to figure out ways to, progress and, the reason I want to see this national, I want to see jobs.
Yeah.
Creating a job in paleontology is every bit as important as finding a new kind of dinosaur.
I agree. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I work as hard trying to create new jobs for people as, doing field work. I'm in position now.
We got to make a living as people doing fossil science and. Yeah.
Yeah, graduating a dozen students are going to be unemployed. Is maybe not a great thing. But you've got to, so you got to create positions.
Yep.
You know, and some of them are not going to be museum curation positions. They're working in parks and
Yeah.
you know, as I tell, you know, paleo, you know, interpretation, writing popular books.
Live
there's-
stream outreach. You know?
Live stream outreach.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
need to figure out how to, you know, make it so there's an income stream, and as long as there is, there'll be more discoveries made, and that's the long-term goal for all of us. You know?
Let's see. Dinosaur Dave in chat's been working on a Lego fossil Utah raptor that he's excited about. So
Is he doing it from scratch, or did he buy a kit?
from scratch, yeah.
From scratch.
Yeah,
okay.
making a new one. So
This is a kid from Australia.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. I don't know if I'd call him a kid, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
compared to me, I bet he is.
So Jim here's been digging dinosaurs on the Colorado Plateau for 52 years now.
52. This is
52 years.
April would have been my 52nd anniversary. Of
Nice.
My first dinosaur dig.
Uh-huh.
Back when I was working in the San Juan Basin when I was
Impressive.
a young punk.
Man, I hope to make it that long. We'll see. But
It just drives me nuts. That was the year I met my predecessor, Jim Madsen, the first Utah State paleontologist.
yeah.
And would I have ever imagined that someday I'd have his job?
Impressive. Yeah. Very cool. We'll go take a look at the other quarry too, and let me go get some more water. But we'll be back.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah. So these fellows have just done the ritual removal of the plaster from the arms and hands.
So is this little bench right here, there's nothing under there?
Some of that might still be going on.
So, you know, we kind of have a few consumables, like plaster and gypsona, that we buy.
All right.
That might be the place for move that out of the way.
Let me go get some water. Yeah. Oh, Twitch, please stable. Wait, what's going on?
Oh, do you have them on your thing?
Is the signal cutting out or something?
I love it, man. I was just, somebody earlier was like, I think I've got a mollusk.
And
But I was like, oh, we find these.
oh, gotcha, Claire. Okay.
Jeff loves those.
Yeah, let me go get some water. This is cactus country out here. It is pretty dry. So, gotta make sure that take the time to hydrate. Yeah. And
I will.
the dinosaur era was given 65 million years ago. Now it's 66. Oh yeah, and Stewie FM, that's exactly what it is. So, I think that paper came out in like 2013. And I'd love to be able to interview the guy who was lead author on that, or one of the authors at least, Paul Rennie at the Berkeley Geochronology Center. Geochronology is the study of, dating rocks, determining timelines using geology. Geochronology. Does that make sense? With improved dating methods, more precision, we were able to figure out that the end of the Cretaceous period wasn't 65 million years ago, it was 66. So, as these techniques get better all the time, as they get more precise, we will publish new geological time charts. It's just about every year that a new one comes out, sometimes multiple times a year, when we've got better refined dates. So, yeah. I'm glad you noticed that, from 65 to 66. So yeah, that's the tagline for the film Jurassic Park, is what? An adventure 65 million years in the making? It's 66 now. Not because a million years have passed, but because we've got better dating methods. So yeah. And Uncle BK says, hello all, new here, got referred by a friend. Welcome to Paleontologizing. And welcome Energy Blicky. Nice beard. Thank you. Hey, welcome. For anybody who's just tuning in, my name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. Talking about fossils, digging up fossils, talking about what fossil science is all about. What it can teach us about the history of life on Earth, about extinction, evolution, the origins of biodiversity, and about our own place in the grand scheme of things as human beings. Without the perspective that paleontology gives us, we would be far poorer as a species. Paleontology is important, and I'm here to show you firsthand how we do it. We had a question about, Steemore asks jokingly, all dinosaurs, they are 66 million years old? No. I know you're kidding, but it gives me the evolution of dinosaurs over time. Reptiles include things like lizards and snakes and turtles and crocs, and dinosaurs and birds. Birds are a kind of reptile, because birds evolved from dinosaurs, and dinosaurs are a kind of reptile. Birds are dinosaurs, and birds are reptiles. How cool is that? Here. Let me pull up, that'll work. Well, here, I'll get the phylogeny first. Let's see here. Tree of life. Amniote family tree. Here we go. So here is an evolutionary family tree of all these critters that we call amniotes. So amniotes are animals with bones that mostly live on land. Some of them went back into the oceans, except for amphibians. So amphibians are a group that splits off down here. They're not on this tree. Amniotes are creatures that ancestrally laid eggs on land, unlike frogs or salamanders that lay kind of jelly-like eggs that need to stay wet. Amniotes are like ancestrally fully terrestrial animals. So that includes the mammals over here. This branch goes to us. So mammals are creatures that feed their young with milk. They often have fur or hair. You know mammals. So they go off on this branch here. You get all different kinds of reptiles starting here. So everything that evolves from this node is a reptile, including the dinosaurs, which begin right here. Everything that evolves from this node is a dinosaur by definition. And that includes the birds up here, which are a kind of feathered theropod dinosaur. Yeah. So dinosaurs, when they first evolve, they're little two-legged, mostly meat eaters. They look pretty nondescript, but later on all these different groups evolve and do their weird, cool things, from the stegosaurs to the tyrannosaurs to the massive sauropods to the horned ceratopsids to the ankylosaurs, like we're digging up here at this site. And Utah is pretty impressive. It's one of the world's best places for finding dinosaurs, because Utah has an incredible rock record when it comes to dinosaurs. We've got over 115 species from Utah at this point, from different points in time. We're working here in the Cedar Mountain Formation. That's right there, kind of mint green Cedar Mountain Formation. That spans about 40 million years. So we're here in the poison strip member of the Cedar Mountain Formation. And so there's some of the dinosaurs that you'll see from that time period right there, from that particular member of the Cedar Mountain. So the age of dinosaurs is one of, the story of dinosaurs is a story of lots of change. You've got a constantly developing and changing cast of characters. Different groups of dinosaurs are evolving and then going extinct. It's this grand pageant of diversification and extinction. Dinosaurs don't stay the same for very long. They tend to evolve pretty quickly. So if you find rocks that are a little bit younger from some other rocks, you'll find different kinds of dinosaurs in those. Sometimes they're subtly different if they're just evolving a little bit. Sometimes you get really dramatic differences if new kinds of dinosaurs are coming in across land bridges from other parts of the world, or if you have a mass extinction event that just gets rid of whole groups of dinosaurs, you have new dinosaurs that evolve to take their place. It's really fascinating, just this, like I said, this grand pageant of dinosaur evolution and extinction and diversification and changes in biogeography. It's really, really cool to figure out. So, Dances with Dirt says, life keeps moving, baby. No time to slow down. Exactly. And Saurian Horror says, have Josh show us his poison strip shirt. I don't know, Saurian Horror. I don't know if that's Twitch appropriate. Well, it's Twitch appropriate. I don't know if it's appropriate for this audience in particular. I don't think we can show that, but it's funny. Sorry, chat. We had a question. What are my thoughts on the new Joaquin Raptor paper? I'm glad it's finally out. I've been hearing about this for a while. So the second author on that paper, Matt Lamana, was actually out with us this summer in Wyoming. So he was digging with my crew out there in Wyoming, and he told us about this. Really exciting that we've got a more complete Megaraptoran dinosaur with skull material. We can finally start to figure out what those animals really looked like. It's exciting. It is exciting. So I haven't had a chance to read the paper yet, but just based on the press release that I read and skimming the abstract, that's my impression thus far. Really cool that we've got this weird southern group of meat-eating dinosaurs from the late Cretaceous, toward the end of the age of dinosaurs. They're weird and cool, and they've been mysterious for a long time. I'm glad that we're finally starting to learn a bit more about them. Yeah. And, yeah. Let's see. And Eli Lover says, what books do you recommend for a 10-year-old who loves dinosaurs and wants to be a paleontologist when he grows up? Oh, boy. So, you ready to take some notes? A great dinosaur encyclopedia that I would recommend is by Thomas Holtz, Oltz. It's called something like Dinosaurs, the most complete up-to-date guide for dinosaur lovers of all ages or something. So it's written by a professional dinosaur paleontologist. It's very easy to read, whether you're young or old. Beautiful, very vibrant illustrations by Louis Ray. It's good stuff. Yeah, big green book, and it could be a little pricey sometimes. Yeah, but it's good stuff. Yeah, and Spencer's in the chat. Spencer says hi from Scotland, by the way. Spencer, hello. How are you doing? Good to see you, man. Spencer was on my crew out in Wyoming this past year. He's now doing his master's degree at the University of Edinburgh, I think, up in Scotland. We've got a bunch of people from the UK here right now who are joining us on this crew. We're digging in the Cedar Mountain Formation, Gastonia site. It's called Laurie site. Anyway, Spencer, I hope you're doing well. I hope your master's program has been treating you right. It's good to see you, Spencer. Yeah, proud of you, man. You're doing the thing. But yeah. Let's see, other books that I could recommend for a young person, because I don't want to get too distracted. Maybe when he's a little bit older, there's a book that was my favorite book when I was like maybe 10, 11, 12 years old. Yeah, it's called Time Traveler by Michael Novacek. It's an autobiography of a paleontologist, mostly focusing on his life out in the field, digging up fossils, collecting data, that kind of thing. And it reads kind of like an adventure novel. It's really cool, really well written. Yeah, especially if your 10-year-old is pretty clever, I think he'll really like this book. Time Traveler by Michael Novacek, Novacek, Novacek. Yeah. Claire Burr put a link. And yeah, I agree, Trombone Dalek. Thank you so much, Claire, for all your hard work and doing all this good stuff. Yeah. And Chris Outlander says, I personally discredited the idea that we found feathers, like it's ludicrous to think so, but there it was, the evidence. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, and it kind of made everything make sense all of a sudden, because the origin of birds had been a big mystery for a long time. Like, where the heck do birds come from, you know? There was a general consensus that they're a kind of reptile, but what group of reptile did they evolve from? An early idea back in the day is that, well, shoot, they look pretty similar to some meat-eating dinosaurs. People like Othniel Charles Marsh and Thomas Henry Huxley, they figured that out pretty early on. They're like, yeah, birds are probably a kind of dinosaur. And then that idea fell out of favor around 1914, sometime around then. There was a German artist and scientist, what was his name? I forget, Gerhard something. Yeah, and he's like, no, I think birds are a kind of crocodile type thing. I think that's where they came from. And that idea really kind of caught on for a while. It turned out to be completely wrong. And we realized it was completely wrong starting in the 1960s with the discovery of some very bird-like dinosaurs. Suddenly there's all these different traits that we started finding in dinosaurs and realizing, hey, these things look crazy bird-like. And then it was a done deal in the 1990s when we started finding fossil feathers on dinosaurs coming out of China. The Yixian biota, the G-hole biota, excuse me, Yixian Formation in China. So dinosaurs like dromaeosaurs, these are your classic raptor dinosaurs, like in Jurassic Park. We now realized all these guys had feathers. And some of them we actually have fossil feathers preserved, like on Microraptor right here and on Velociraptor. We don't have true feathers on Velociraptor, but we've got the telltale traces of feathers on the bones. So quill knobs on the ulna of Velociraptor showed that it had essentially like feathery wings. So this whole group of dinosaurs are very, very bird-like in their skeleton. And we now know that they had feathers too. So it's a done deal. They're practically birds. In fact, there are some paleontologists who think they might legitimately be a kind of bird. It all depends like where the first birds actually evolved. Dinosaurs like Velociraptor might actually be the descendants of birds who evolved from earlier dinosaurs. So all of this stuff is kind of in flux right now. And the Utahraptor megablock that Jim was talking about earlier has potentially some really important clues in there. So it's exciting being like on the frontier of this. Anyway, here's a diagram that I put together, a little infographic a few years back, kind of discussing different features that we can see from dinosaurs in modern birds like turkeys. So if you're the sort of person who eats birds, I don't personally, but lots of people do, your Thanksgiving turkey or your Christmas turkey or your Boxing Day budgie or whatever people eat, I don't know. Next time you're eating a bird, look at some of the bones. This has got a list of all of these different features of things that today are unique to bird skeletons. Unique. Dinosaurs used to have these too. These different features, from that S-shaped neck, to the wishbone, to the hinge-like ankle joint, to the structure of the hips, to the hollowness of the bones, even feathers themselves. All of these things first evolved in dinosaurs, and birds just inherited them as kind of a evolutionary hand-me-down. So that's what this is all about, and yeah, you can download this and print it out, bring it to Thanksgiving or Christmas or your Boxing Day budgie eating party, whatever people do. So yeah. And Mustang Unicorn says, my husband always wanted to be a paleontologist. I sent him this channel. Awesome, Mustang Unicorn. Very cool. I appreciate that. It'd be good to see him in here. Yeah. Yeah. And what were they doing with those? That's a great question. DJ Concarne. Great name, too. So it seems when we think about feathers today, we think about flight, like it's kind of synonymous almost. But think about modern birds. There's a lot of them that don't fly. Things like ostriches, penguins, they don't fly, kiwi birds. The birds that don't fly will use their feathers for other things, for keeping cool or for keeping warm, for insulating themselves. They'll use feathers for display, for showing off to one another, for like communication. There's a lot of different things that you can use feathers for, and it seems like feathers didn't originally evolve for flight at all. Feathers originally evolved maybe to keep dinosaurs warm, or to keep them cool, maybe for display, for showing off. Feathers, you can make them in like any color. And in some ways it's easier to do that than skin. And you can shed the feathers halfway through the year if you want to go into your breeding plumage or whatever. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with feathers. They're also like almost like a soft suit of armor that can help protect you from scratches and abrasions and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool things that feathers can do. But we think that there's a number of different dinosaurs that actually use them not for flight, but for other aerodynamic purposes. When we're talking about dinosaurs like Velociraptor, had wings, essentially. What's it doing? Why? So why have wings? And there's a few people who have worked on this, including my old crew chief, Denver Fowler. And he thinks that dinosaurs like Velociraptor, or Deinonychus, or Utahraptor, they probably use their wings not for flying, because they're way too heavy, but instead for flapping while they're standing on top of their prey. Because these guys have these huge wicked claws on their feet like that. Almost like on a modern eagle, but turned up to 11. So we think that rather than using them for slashing, they probably use those claws as like grappling hooks almost. So they would use it to hook into their prey, stand on top of them. The prey is struggling, and they would flap their wings to stay upright on top of their prey as they're essentially eating it alive. We see this in modern birds of prey. So eagles will do this, hawks will do this. If like a golden eagle is swooping across this landscape, and we do have them here. If there were one swooping across the landscape and it flies down, it spots a jackrabbit, swoops down and grabs it, that jackrabbit might be real big. It might be too heavy to fly away with. They can't lift that off the ground. So what do? They stand on top of it, they sink those claws in. The jackrabbit is struggling like a bucking bronco trying to get the eagle off, and the eagle will just stand there and flap its wings in order to stay upright while the rabbit tires itself out. And as the rabbit is struggling, the eagle will flap and actually start eating pieces of the rabbit while it's still alive. And we know that they do this. We think that maybe these quote-unquote raptor dinosaurs, the dromaeosaurs, maybe they were doing the same thing. It would explain why they have wings and why they have those huge claws like that don't seem particularly good for slashing, if you ask me. There's not really any animals today that use claws for slashing. Claws are usually used as like hooks for grabbing. So, makes a lot of sense. There's a cool paper. It's called the Raptor Prey Restraint Hypothesis, RPR. And Denver and co-authors published a really, really cool paper on this that you should check out if you're interested in this kind of thing. It's very readable, even for a non-specialist. Yeah. And Wee says, what about fishing, like diving into the water? That has been suggested for certain dinosaurs. So if we go back and look at that diagram again, there's a different kind of dromaeosaur called Austroraptor, and it's got a long, skinny snout. It almost looks kind of like a heron or something like that. And maybe these guys were eating fish a lot of the time. So here's Austroraptor right here. Long, skinny snoot on it, right there. And we do have some evidence that these guys may have been fish eaters. One of the things that herons will do, certain species they'll spread their wings out to the side, and then they'll go wade into the water, and then they'll just like use their wings to cast a shadow over the water, and they'll stand perfectly still. And curious fish will swim over, and they'll be like, oh, what's that shade? Let me go hang out there, it's nice and cool. And then, bam, they grab them with their snouts. And so maybe Austroraptor was doing that. We don't really know. We also don't really know if Austroraptor had wings per se, like other dromaeosaurs. But it's an interesting idea, you know? It would require better fossils to be able to really test that idea, I think. Yeah. And thank you, DJ Concarne. Hey, enjoy your dinner. Thanks for being here. Yeah. But yeah. And Dulwiz says, speaking of feathers, is there any evidence that dinosaurs exhibited sexual dimorphism and coloration, similar to differences between male and female birds? Yes, Dulwiz. The short answer is yes. avian dinosaurs. There's a particular kind of fossil bird from the Cretaceous, from the age of dinosaurs. It's called Confucius ornis. And I don't know about coloration. There's almost certainly some difference there. But I know for a fact that there are a bunch of them that are found with super long tail feathers and a bunch of them that are found without. And I think it's about a 50-50 split. So like some of them seem to have had these long tail feathers and some of them didn't in the same species. We're pretty sure they're the same species. And so if that's the case, it could be males and females. So feathers might have been another way that dinosaurs could show off to one another, to tell male from female, that kind of thing. Because we don't have, so far, any real evidence of osteological sexual dimorphism in dinosaurs. Meaning, male and female dinosaurs' bones or skeletons, identical, as far as we can tell, so far. That might change in the future if we find more and better fossils, but for the time being, we haven't been able to find any real super convincing evidence that male and female dinosaurs had any differences in their skeletons. Again, that's for the time being. That could change tomorrow with a new publication. And there's been lots of hints of this in the literature, but it's never really held up, you know? Yeah. I'm kind of discounting some recent papers. There was one on, I think, ornithomimids from Europe. But I wonder if that's not ontogenetic differences. I could very well be wrong about this. But for the most part, you kind of can't tell male and female dinosaurs apart. Like, nobody's been able to... The gist of it. And Circule says, do sexual dimorphism in the skeleton. Never do they have that. So no. The only thing I can think of is male turkeys will sometimes have big spurs that female turkeys don't on their, on their tibiotarsus, I think. So on their legs, they've got this big, like, spur spike thing. The males will use them for fighting. I don't think the females have them as large, if they have them at all. So that's the only thing I can think of that would separate a male and female bird skeleton. I have some friends who have, an old roommate actually, who did a study on bird pelvies, the hips of different modern birds, looking at a bunch of different male and females. I think they were geese. And the reasoning was like, well, the females probably have a larger pelvic aperture, larger hole for the eggs to come out of. He didn't find that. So not even in the hips was there a difference. Not even like taking the zillion measurements was he able to find anything reliable there. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah. In Princeton, that is a perpetual question. How did thyrea and foreign dinosaurs, how did they mate with each other with all those different spikes and plates and stuff like that? We don't know. I'm not going to go into detail about some ideas that have been suggested because we're going to try and keep this as family friendly a broadcast as we can. But yeah. Carefully, says Dark Muppeteer. I would agree. Yeah. And that question gets harder with Spicomelus, says Dr. Chin Spicomelus, because one of the authors on that paper is here right now. We can go talk to her real quick if you'd like to. Dr. Susanna Maidmont is right over there. We can go talk to her. I'm not going to be the one to break the news. We'll see if she wants to. I'll leave that very open-ended. But there's some exciting new material that hasn't been published yet. So, yeah. Spicomelus. Let me find an image of this critter real quick just to show people what we're talking about. Crazy weird ankylosaur, armored dinosaur. Just incredibly spiny. Look at that right there. Can you see that with the glare? Super spiky, bizarre dinosaur. Yeah. There we go. That's even better. Yeah, the oldest ankylosaur in the world from Africa. It's also the first ankylosaur from Africa. And, yeah, holy cow. It's incredibly bizarre. And, Yeah, let's go talk to Susie about that briefly. Yeah. Over here. Some really nice scree piles over here. It's a lot of work been done. Excellent.
Years. Just doesn't break. Right, barite. The mudstone breaks in a little and little too.
Yeah.
Because of the cleavage. And barite bites because it's X-ray opaque, so you can't see T-scan it.
Here, can we bother you for a second, Susie? If it's not the right moment, I understand.
No, I'm sitting here having a break. I'm supervising.
All right, go ahead and get on that.
We had somebody in the chat mention Spicomelis, and they were pretty excited about it, so I figured we'd come and talk to you about
Oh, great.
that
Yeah, yeah.
briefly.
Love to, yeah.
Incredibly weird, cool dinosaur. You were talking about some exciting developments. I don't know if you can share any.
I'm not sharing that. That's a secret.
Yeah.
That's a secret.
I figured, yeah.
We
But,
have more to come, put it that way.
That's really exciting, yeah. How's the reception been on this dinosaur?
Yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. We, I have to say, when we saw it, so we had been working for a long time with this team in Morocco, and one of the guys that we were right at the site where all the fossils are coming out, and we were kind of paying him to work for us rather than work for the commercial dealers. So before he was pulling things out and then selling them to the commercial dealers, and we were like, well, instead of doing that, why don't you find them, leave them in the ground, and then tell us when we arrive. But actually, what happens is you have these big flash floods that come down, and they. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to just erode out all the bones. So he was actually kind of hoiking these things out and saving them for us. And so when we got there, he pulled them all out and he put them out on outside his house for us. And like straight away, I was like, "Wow, this is a nature paper." You know, like straight up, this is bananas. I can't even identify what half of these bones were. So we knew it was going to be a big deal. But I mean, it has been like, there is. Actually, my daughter sent me a picture yesterday from her Earth magazine. It's like a kids magazine with a
mom named that.
Yeah. So it has, and it's really. We got in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the oldest ankylosaur, which is kind of a random one, but. And was like, I'll put that in the Guinness World Records.
Very cool,
So it's been very exciting. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool.
I mean, we've got all around the world with it as well. So.
Well done.
Thank you.
And you've got more material too. I mean, that's the thing that's kind of striking to me is that this must have been a common animal if you're finding more and more material from it.
So one thing that we don't have a good handle on at the moment, I mean, we're in the very early stages of the exploration of these rocks. So we don't have a good handle on actually whether all of the material that's for sale across Europe on Facebook Marketplace and that is being dug up by commercial guys is actually from the same individual. I mean, it could be that some of the specimens that we're seeing for sale are actually from our individual.
From the same individual
that we've described. But I mean, we actually don't have a good handle on this yet. And it's difficult because every time we go there, the fossils are getting stolen basically. So you have to have a permit to dig where we dig. And we are the only people with the permit to dig in the area. So anyone else who's digging and selling fossils from there is doing so illegally. So it's really frustrating. Because it prevents us from being able to get that sort of data because we are losing so much information.
Interesting. Oh, really? If there's like one misperception or one thing you'd like to clear up about this animal, when things like this get a lot of press, they sometimes get mildly misrepresented or something. What's something you would like people to know about Spicomelis?
Prefer to listen to hip hop rather than punk music.
Oh yeah, so there's a lot of headlines about that it's a punk rock dinosaur, and that was actually. It was not our nickname for it at all. The producer of the BBC News programme said, "Can we get one of you two on camera, me and Rich on camera, saying this?" And so they actually came up with it, and then they made it look like we said it. And anyway, Rich had volunteered, so he had to say it. So luckily, I got away with it.
Sheepishly on camera. It's a punk rock dinosaur.
It's cool to get that peek behind the curtain. Thank you. That's appreciated. Yeah, very cool.
I mean, it's like
really exciting animal and just incredibly bizarre. I'm excited to talk to Susie and Richard about that a little bit more when I get the chance. I know it's been getting a ton of attention. Oh, Spicomelis, spikiest dinosaur. But it's genuinely very interesting and can help change the way that we think about ankylosaurs. Apparently they were in Africa, and that's the earliest one we have so far. It's just wild, you know? It's certainly worthy of a nature paper. And getting a raid from Cracks Eggs. Well. Hello, Cracks Eggs. How are you doing? Good. FH Jam GT says, hello. I'm here to see someone when I was a kid. You could still live this dream. We take volunteers, you know. Almost everybody working here is a volunteer or a student. But welcome everybody. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. So during much of the year, I'm back home in my office, going over new scientific papers, interviewing other paleontologists remotely, doing some 3D printing and digital art, and tons of viewer Q&A. The whole point is to show you how fossil science really works and how it's done. And I have the opportunity to do that live from the field right now. Satellite, there's our dish over there, out here in eastern Utah in the early Cretaceous Cedar Mountain Formation. We've got an ankylosaur bone bed here, so a huge assemblage of armored dinosaurs that all got buried in the same place. We're talking dozens, maybe hundreds of individuals. It's pretty cool. So, yeah, you're doing the same with farming. Oh, very cool, Cracks Eggs. Nice. Crack eggs, rather. It's good to have you here. Let me get some more water, and then I'll show you around that quarry a little bit. Let me know if you've got any questions. That's what these streams are all about, huh? Yeah. Hydrate here. All right. And holy cow, Adzo Plays raided as well. Thank you, Adzo Plays, for the raid. Welcome. Hope you had a good stream. And Crispy343 dropped 20 gift subs. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Here, in honor of those gift subs, let's get a thank you from our Gastonia. Here's a plastic model of this dinosaur that we're digging up. This one doesn't make noise, but we happen to have a Gastonia in a can who will thank you for those gift subs there. Here we go. And maybe one more time. We didn't catch that. Can you repeat yourself? Okay, thank you. Thank you for the gift subs there. Really appreciate your generosity. Brilliant. And analog alerts. Yes, indeed, Golganek. Yeah. And yeah, I really appreciate you, Crispy343. Believe it or not, I do this full time. This is how I make my living, is doing science outreach live streams. And so it's because of generous folks like you that I'm able to travel, to afford satellite internet, and solar panels and everything. Big difference, so thank you for your generosity. It really does make a difference. And not been on any digs outside the US yet, right on time. There's honestly so much here in the States that you could do a whole career here, just in Utah. You wouldn't even have to leave the state borders. Yeah, shoot, Jim Kirkland over there has been digging dinosaurs here on the Colorado Plateau, mostly in Utah, for 50 years at this point. Yeah. And Halkin says, if someone is not a paleontologist, could they still help in this type of excavation? Yes. In fact, don't take my word for it. Let's ask Josh over here, who's curator of the museum. Yeah. Josh, we had some people asking if they might be able to help with some sort of excavation like this.
Absolutely.
And I was telling them, yeah.
Yeah, we take volunteers from all over the place. We have a volunteer application, basically. It's a waiver and to make sure you're not a felon. And beyond that, you just send in that volunteer application. You can get that by emailing me at the museum, or I don't think we have one posted on our website. So just find my email and drop me a line. And you can once you fill out that application and pass the background check and whatnot, after that, I put you on our volunteer email list, and then usually around January, February of a given year, I'll schedule for the year.
Nice.
And folks then just email me, sign up, and you get the detail.
Yeah.
Whether or not you have any experience, that doesn't matter. We'll train you to do whatever we're doing on a project, whether we're prospecting for new fossils, whether we're excavating a giant bone bed like this, and essentially you just get yourself to Price or get yourself to the field site, and we'll feed you, we'll water you, and we'll have a great time.
Yeah, do a really good job of that too. Josh here's an excellent cook. I had no idea. So like kind of our camp chef.
Yeah.
And yeah, hot breakfast too. I'm not used to that either. Luxurious. So 2 hot meals a day. Never had that in the field before.
Eat your heart out, other field crews.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. So, and even though that part might not be super typical, 2 hot meals a day, usually it's just dinner on most field crews I've been on. What is typical is that most crews are primarily volunteer-based. So, most field crews, the vast majority of people who are there on the crew are volunteering. And it doesn't necessarily take any sort of education in paleontology to volunteer. We do require or recommend a few things. Like what we look for in volunteers is people who are comfortable being outside. Sometimes it could be pretty hot, especially if you do field work during the summer. You're comfortable like sleeping in a tent every night. I guess you could drive in from town every day if you wanted to stay in a hotel. If you had that kind of Skrilla, then more power to you, I guess. But yeah, most paleontological field crews, most dinosaur digging crews, or crews digging any kind of vertebrate fossil generally, are volunteer-based. So I'm volunteering here. I'm not getting paid to be on this crew. I'm getting paid through Twitch chat, or like through Twitch, thanks to the generosity of you viewers. But that's how I make my living normally too. So I'm out here streaming and I do actually help with the digging and everything. I just don't do a lot of that on stream because I'm talking to all of you, and also we have all of our students here from the UK right now, so space is pretty tight. But yeah, point is, if you want to get involved, if you want to volunteer on a dinosaur dig, you absolutely can. We always need volunteers. Just about every crew needs volunteers. So reach out to your local museum, ask around, get in contact with some paleontologists, send some emails. You could be out here digging dinosaurs too. It's very possible.
That's the end of it.
And Chris Outlander, almost essentially a desert. No, it very much is a desert here. Yeah. We got the cactus to prove it. Check that out. Yeah. Don't want to sit on those. But no, this very much is desert out here. Yeah, shoot, that's Arches National Park right over there on the horizon. One of the classic like desert national parks in the U.S. So it is a desert, yeah. We're here in late September right now. This is September 25th. It's Lordy's birthday, actually, today. It's my birthday tomorrow. I've never done fieldwork this late in the year. No, I take that back. I've done like a couple days worth of fieldwork in October 2022, I think. Is that right? Anyway, but that was just a quick little jaunt. That wasn't like fieldwork like I'm doing now. So yeah, it's different and very cool to be out here during the fall. Not necessarily cool in terms of temperature. What's our current temp right now? It's not as hot as it has been, but let's see. Here, we'll use our handy-dandy IR thermometer. Let's, all right, 121.5 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface of the solar panel. Let's see what it is ground temperature here. 116.8. Again, that's ground temperature. What is it on the pole of our satellite dish? 126.7. Now, what's the air temperature? Let's figure that out. Different device for that. Oh, 91? 90?
Yeah, so this would be
89? Not too bad. Got a nice breeze going through, cooling things off a bit. 17% humidity. Yeah. Cooler than it is here during the summer, I'll tell you that. Oh yeah. But yeah, when I'm out there about 5 miles that way at Doling's Bowl, like I was last month, typically during the summer from mid-July to early August, when we normally dig there with the Utah Geological Survey, it'll be 110, 115 degrees for many days out of the season. We're usually there for about 3 weeks. Yeah, this has been much, much cooler than that. Yeah. And Elegance and Crafting says I'd be cooked and red like a lobster. Well, that's why you get to watch from home, I guess. I hope you're someplace nice and cool right now. Yeah. Yeah, and E-Dragonfly had a question. Let's see. Let's see if I can go back and catch that. And E-Dragonfly. Well, so, yeah. Oh, and Saranlan says, greetings to the Birmingham people. Oh, very cool, Saranlan. I grew up in Birmingham. I'm now within walking distance. What should I ask the Birmingham folks? Like, is there a certain restaurant that people really like there, or like, what would be amusing to them that I could ask? But somebody was asking about archosaurs earlier. So archosaur is our name for a group of reptiles that includes dinosaurs, and it includes crocs. It includes birds too, because birds are a kind of dinosaur. So yeah, the archosaurs are the group of reptiles that dinosaurs belong to. The pterosaurs, the flying reptiles, they're archosaurs too. The pterodactyls, as members of the public often call them, they are also archosaurs. So I'll show you on this chart. Our particular group of reptiles that includes lots of smaller groups. So dinosaurs start here on this chart. This is Ornithodira, so there's the pterosaurs. This is Archosauria right here. So everything that comes off of this node is an archosaur. So that includes our modern crocs and the extinct ones too. Ones that lived in the ocean and on land. Plant-eating ones, meat-eating. Yeah. Crocs, the pterosaurs, and the dinosaurs, including birds. That's what Archosauria is. Does that make sense? Let's see. Let's see. And Link for Real says, physical limitations keep me from doing something like this. I appreciate you, Denny. You bet, Link for Real. Yeah. I've gotten feedback from some folks who have various reasons that this sort of work would be really difficult for them. Physical disabilities or geographical limitations, things like that. I want people to be able to see what this sort of work is like, even if they can't necessarily participate in it, for whatever reason, whether it's financial or physical or geographical or temporal. You know, some people are only awake at night. Yeah, lots of different reasons why people might not be able to come out and do this sort of work. But I want to give you a chance to see what it's like anyway, you know? So, that said, let's go over and let's take a look at some of these bones, shall we? We might have some new things coming out here. It's been a while since we've checked in the quarry. And oh, and Saranlan, I will ask that. That's a great question. All right, I've got a question for the Birmingham folks. We've got somebody from Birmingham in the chat, and he'd like to know. Oh, where was it? Ask them if they are missing having a balti. It's a Birmingham Indian dish. Nobody else makes it properly. Is that a thing?
It's a thing, but I don't miss it.
Yeah. Fair. Okay.
I mean, surely India makes it properly.
I don't know. There's a lot of like Indian dishes that kind of have their origins in the UK, right?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it was altered for English people because we,
right, yeah.
you know, don't like the authentic.
Not to make it less spicy.
Yeah.
That's funny. Coming from San Francisco, though, like one of the things I do miss the most is Indian food when I'm out in the field. So I can understand that that feeling for sure. We do have a lot of good Indian food in the Bay Area as well. I came in here to ask also, do you have any new bones to show off since the last time I checked in?
Lots of small stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, all of this was trench bone.
Oh, nice. Wow, shoot.
Trench bone is
So
the name
just
of the game.
loose bits of bone here that came out of the trench?
Yeah, a bunch of osteoderms and rib chunks.
Nice.
There's probably
Okay.
a few concretions sitting in there too, to be
Uh-huh.
honest.
There's also, if you look at my shadow, there's also
Right over
some
here?
cool stuff coming out
You
here.
can point with this if you'd like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Nice as getting.
Very nice. Good stuff.
And then a lot of cute little osteoderms from over there.
Mm-hmm. So the osteoderms are the armor plates for anybody who's
This is
not familiar with the
It's
term.
the flatter one.
Nice, Daniel. Very
It's
nice.
just come out.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple upside down ones that were quite pointed.
Mm-hmm.
But they've gone in the back now.
Very cool. Okay. Doesn't it feel good to get things out of the way too? Just back them up and not have to worry about them.
I spent the whole first day trying to do all this and nothing came out. There's a big osteoderm there, but I was told to leave it. I wanted something with my name on it.
Yeah.
So I finally got some little osteoderms
Awesome. Yeah.
that I can actually take out.
Nice. Yeah, nice work, everybody. This is looking
That's all the vertebrae.
much better than it was before.
Jacketed up.
Yeah, and nice jacket there too. It's good to get all that stabilized. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
This is not wanting to
Nicely done.
I'm realizing that this entire thing is bone.
Very cool. And this area looks very different over here too. Very nice.
Yeah, we've removed lots of bits today.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have noticed that there are a few large osteoderms kind of on this side.
Yeah, there
Loads
was
of
some over here.
vertebrae that we've removed.
Mm-hmm.
Just slowly eking our way backwards.
Yeah, yeah. This looks like a vertebral centrum right here, maybe.
Yep, so we're planning on putting a jacket on that at some point. So we
Nice.
can get links to these bones here.
Uh-huh.
Safer just to lift it all out at once.
Excellent, yeah. Very cool. And then here's that big stupid rib from earlier. Here, this is from last year. Well, it's been here for 130 million years, but go around here, see what Eric has got for us. And let me scroll down to the bottom of chat too. It is a lot of work, their astronomy show, absolutely.
Spring that we may come out
Oop. All right.
and also a lot of other times.
Sorry, I'm
Hello.
kicking dust on you. Hey,
Oh, no
Erica.
worries, no worries. Hey, so this popped out earlier, which is a little different, right? It's a little different than what we've been finding.
It's a nice keel on it.
It does.
Yeah.
So we are thinking maybe type of a tarsal. So
oh, really?
A foot bone, as opposed because it doesn't have
that osteoderm
flattening,
texture. Yeah.
nor does it have the flattening of an osteoderm on any one side.
Uh-huh.
So it's got what looks to be a couple articular surfaces, which always makes one think carpal or tarsal.
Yeah, yeah.
And these guys had larger tarsals than their carpals. So.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know.
Very cool.
It's interesting because it's hanging out right next to this, which is it's a clean split. It's not part of this bone, and I'm not sure if this right here is a concretion or if it's also bone.
If it were bone, that would make sense. If it were part of the ankle,
Exactly.
to have those bones that just kind of line up next to each other like that.
Precisely. So, so it's just leaving it there for now and
Nice.
trying to work around it.
That's exciting. Very cool.
I know.
Yeah.
Aside from that, it's just been nothing but little laminated pieces of sandstone.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Very nice.
I'm very
yeah.
relaxed.
And then we've also got that other, was it a vert or a
Oh yeah,
phalanx or something like
this one right
yeah.
here.
There's folks who haven't seen that yet.
Yeah,
Nice
this
vert.
is gorgeous. This is a great caudal vertebra.
Yeah.
So you've got your two little transverse processes here. It's a little dorsiventrally flattened.
Yeah,
It would be more.
from top to bottom.
Yeah, it'll be more round in life, but it's gorgeous. I mean, look at the texture there. You can see right where it articulated. There'd be a big cartilaginous pad in between this one and the other vertebra. So it's been mapped, and so we're going to get it tomorrow. We'll get it out tomorrow.
Excellent.
Yeah, because it's just having to watch it.
Very cool. Thanks,
And
Eric.
you know, for the new people,
Yeah.
we can talk about this over
Yeah.
here too. So
You can use a laser pointer if you'd like
yeah,
to.
sure. So we've got these two limb elements that appear to be from the same side. So they can't be from the same animal.
Because it would be two left.
Yeah, you can't have two left or two rights.
Yeah.
And Josh thinks that they might be fibula. So elements, and then this one up here is larger, and not quite sure what it is, but again, probably not associated with whoever's these belong to.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting spot right here. This is, I believe, is a little osteoderm, and there may be some more over here as well. So again, trying to just work this around and see what else we find.
Awesome. Cool.
Great.
Thanks, Erica.
All right, thanks.
Nice work too.
Yeah, thank you.
I really do hope that turns into like an ankle element. That would be super neat.
Stoked if that's what it was.
Cool. All right. So I just tugged on the cord a little bit. Hopefully we're still on. Yeah. And Dances with Dirt says she mentioned those yesterday. Are they going to leave them in place and jacket all of that area? Possibly, yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Part of our decision process with that too is going to depend on how much time we have and how many other elements we find. So if we start to run out of time, we might just jacket things and then leave them for next year. But we're going to get everything out that we can this year. And I'll be here for the next 4 days, I think. Maybe that's including today. So maybe 3 more streams after this. I'm going to leave a little bit early than I was expecting. Because there's some stuff I got to take care of back home in the Bay Area. And there might even be an opportunity to get involved with some leatherback turtle work. So cross your fingers that that comes to fruition. No promises, and I wouldn't be able to stream it, not this time around at least. But it would be a really exciting development, and I'd be getting involved with some of that. So, yeah, slim chance of seeing some live leatherback turtles off the coast of San Francisco. So, we'll see. Anywho, yeah. And hope it works out. Thank you, Geeks Tour. Yeah. Yeah, cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. There's a bunch of different things that all have to line up perfectly for it to happen. But, yeah. On something right now. In the news, let's see. And do we have any headlines? 1 hour ago. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Well, we might have bad news and good news. Bad news might mean good. I'll tell you later. Well, I can tell you now. If there is a government shutdown, like looks like it might happen, that would be very bad for a lot of people. But that might mean there'd be an opening for me to help out on a leatherback crew. We'll see. Just, yeah, that's all I can tell you right now. But, yeah. Hey, KDRP, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Good to see you here. Yeah. Excited. It is exciting, Claire. We'll see. We'll see. It's a big if, but yeah. And who else? There's somebody else in the chat? E-Dragonfly says, I was asking if there's a general term that includes dinosaurs and pterosaurs. And other not actually a dinosaur. Well, yes and no. So dinosaurs plus pterosaurs, that group is the Ornithodira. Ornithodira. Ornitho, O-R-N-I-T-H-O-R-A. Ornithodira. But then you get other groups of reptiles that lived in the Mesozoic. Things like plesiosaurs, mosasaurs, ichthyosaurs. Those are all different kinds of marine reptile from different places on the reptile family tree. They're not part of Ornithodira. So if you want to refer to dinosaurs and pterosaurs and the marine reptiles, you could use a non-phylogenetic term, just a grab bag term. Just say Mesozoic reptiles, you know? That's your ticket. That's probably what you're looking for, right? That would include every kind of reptile from the Mesozoic era. So dinosaurs, crocs, ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, thalattosaurs, pterosaurs, Birds, too, would be Mesozoic reptiles if they lived during the Mesozoic. So yeah, I hope that helps. Yeah. Plesiosaurs and thank you saurs. Very funny dances with dirt. I'm hoping Saturday we'll be able to sit down with Josh Lively and talk marine reptiles. Maybe with a special emphasis on mosasaurs and turtles, especially sea turtles. Because Josh works on mosasaurs and on turtles. And yeah, I'm going to see if I can get involved in a research project with Josh and publish some papers on sea turtle evolution. I'd be really into that. So we've been talking. Yeah, and Mesozoic reptiles, exactly, you dragonfly. There you go. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. And Ava metatarsalia. Yeah, there you go, Charlie's Dragon. That's probably the closest thing. I don't know if Ornithodira is still an accepted term, actually. I don't know enough about this kind of thing. It may have fallen out of favor. Ava metatarsalia may have taken its place. Yeah. Anywho. Yeah. Straight from the desert to the Pacific? Well, that's what I do anyway, Geek Store. Yeah, I live on the California coast. So I'm out there in Oakland. So whether I'm out working with leatherbacks or not, I'm still going to be going and seeing the bay, if not the ocean, not too long after I get home from the Utah desert. But yeah, it is a big trip. It's about a 15-hour drive. And, you know, we here in the United States, we go, oh yeah, 15-hour drive. It's going to get you across a couple states, I guess. People in other parts of the world, I often forget, like a 15-hour drive? What are you talking about? It's like going from one side of Europe to the other. So, yeah. Anyhow. Oh, and I guess the students are going to be packing up here. Yeah, they'll be back tomorrow, too, at least for part of the day. Yeah. Laughs in Texan. There you go, Lenina. There's an old joke where there's what is it? I think it's like an Englishman and a Texan, and you know, they're out there in Texas, or maybe they're in England. I don't know. Doesn't matter where they are, but the Texan. Yeah, you know, I used to, well, back home on my ranch, and just drive and drive and drive all day long, and I'd still be there on my land, you know? And the Englishman says, oh yeah, I used to have a crummy car like that too. And there you go, Jedi Mega Man, yeah. Yeah. And 26 hours drive. I'd have taken the plane. That sounds miserable to be on the road for that long, says Gene Went. Yeah, that'd be several days, I would imagine. I don't think they did it in one 26-hour stretch, right? Even I've done, you know, a 15-hour drive all at once. But this time I'll be stopping at a motel and sleeping for the night on my way home. So it's going to be like a 1.5 day journey for me, or 15 hours total. I'll break it up over 2 days. So I prefer to do it. I don't want to be driving for 15 hours straight if I can help it. It's possible. I've done it. But driving is pretty much the most dangerous thing I do on any given day. And with all of the critters that you have running across the road in this part of the world, I want to make sure that I have my wits about me and I'm not driving in the dead of night. You know, I don't want to hit a deer or something like that. So, yeah. Canada was already here, so Stark number 2. There you go. Yeah. Oh. Not like a piece of sagebrush in my mouth. Yeah. And there you go, Geek Store, yeah. A day to go arrest Rowan's, yeah. When I lived in Montana, too, it was something like a 16-hour drive to go from the northwest corner of the state to the southeast corner. So if you're going to go from, like, Whitefish to Ekalaka, something like 16 hours. And that's if you just drive the whole time without stopping for gas or food or go to the bathroom. Yeah, California is much the same way. If you're to drive from the northern tip of California up by like Redding or even further north all the way down to San Diego or Poway or something, that would take a long time. going to be about a 9-hour drive when I go to Twitch. From San Francisco to San Diego. That's about 9 hours. Yeah, lots of driving. And astronomy shows this big sky too. Milky Way beautiful. It's been gorgeous. Holy cow. Because we've had no moon for the last week or so. I think maybe it just sets really early in the night. It's a waxing crescent right now. I saw it just around sunset last night. It's barely anything, and then it disappeared. Went down below the horizon. So it's been so dark. And yeah, just shooting stars and satellites and the Milky Way stretching across the sky. It's magical. It's really beautiful. And yeah, I recommend it. If anybody ever gets the chance to go to an area with almost no light pollution, the stars that you will see, astonishing. Yeah. And I try not to take it for granted, you know? This is my 10th week in the field so far this year. And we've had skies like that nearly everywhere, except St. George. There's a lot of light pollution there. Spent 2 weeks there back in the spring. Everywhere else, beautiful skies. Yeah. Yeah. And very nice otter do it. Yeah. I wish I could take the train. Oh man, that'd be lovely. Yeah. Leave the granite. There you go. Dances with dirt, yeah. Geology joke. Yeah, somebody was asking me earlier whether these different rock formations and stuff whether they have names, and some of them probably do. I don't know if this one here has a name. But there at Arches National Park, which is right there on the horizon, there are certainly some rock formations that do have names. And I mentioned one of them a few days ago. I think I got the name wrong. It's Skyline Arch that's over there that we can actually see from camp. So if you look up an image of Skyline Arch, it's pretty dramatic. And so it's just this archway of rock with a big hollow underneath on the skyline. You can see the sky through it. Really cool. And apparently at some point in like the 1940s or 50s or 60s, big chunk of it fell down and it made the arch, it made the aperture there like twice as big. It just happened one night. now there was before. These things, we think of them, like as human beings, we often default to thinking about rocks as being somehow permanent, and they are nothing but. They're always changing, forming, eroding away, all of that. It's that's kind of the study of geology, you know, and to an extent paleontology too, is realizing that change is the only constant, and things that might seem static to our, very limited lifespans, no, they're changing, they're moving, they're eroding away or forming. A very dynamic planet, and we're so lucky to live on it, you know. Yeah. And there you go, Geeks Tour. That might be where that was filmed, actually. That takes place in Utah. The beginning of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Yeah. But yeah, that's where we're at. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. If you want to get a good sense for what the landscape is like and what this dig site is like, you can watch these streams, and you can watch episode 3 of the new Walking with Dinosaurs too, which just premiered this summer. They really put a big emphasis on the landscape and on it's almost like a travel show where they're really trying to show off the scenery and everything, try to make it look as spectacular and romantic as possible. It's just, and I mean romantic in like the classic sense, not like in a kissy sense, but like romantic, like, grand adventure, that sort of thing. Yeah. And we make sedimentary rock in 30 years. There you go, RB42, yeah. Yeah. Anyhow. Looks like they're taking off for the day. So we'll have an opportunity to clean up a bit and, yeah. So the Brits are heading back to civilization, or what passes for it at least, over there in Colorado. So they're going to be going across the border into Colorado for the night, where they've got a hotel and hot food and all that stuff. Real beds to sleep in, showers. We're not so lucky out here, but we get to sleep under the stars, and that is pretty special, and I'm grateful for that. So we'll see them tomorrow, and yeah, let me get some more water.
That is probably the expensive part, right?
And there you go, Copernicus. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get some water in a minute. Let's go talk to Jim. Can I grab you another water bottle or something, Jim?
No, I got one in my back pocket.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. What do you think of the site this year? It's about what you expected?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much work to go.
Yeah.
Over and look at this side because I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
This year.
Okay.
Oh man.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever the next. Yeah, whatever the next number here. I can.
It's like I got sciatica here. You know, I see I got my brace on.
Uh-huh.
I think it really has helped.
Hmm.
For a while this morning, I thought I spaced it and didn't bring it. Oh God.
How did your talk go in Moab?
Good.
Nice. Is that the same one you're giving for UFOP?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, is there a way to get in here without?
So right over here through that gap, yeah.
I cannot.
So Jim's going to be giving that same talk in October, and we might be able to watch that when it's online. That would be pretty cool.
Sucks.
Howdy, Jim.
Hey, how you doing?
So numbers should be.
Burton.
Messed up. Was that G1?
Let's go under here.
All right, so it's going to be LS25. -37.
Well, hopefully this site doesn't require too much getting up and getting down.
Well, it does. Yeah, I get it. I got glaucoma. I get my face close to stuff when I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And what grid did that come from?
G1. Very different little quarry in here.
Okay.
Oh, and Renfield, you're in luck. Michael is going to be doing some time lapses of the Milky Way with his DSLR. And we can ask him where to find those. He might put them on his Instagram or something like that. So I'll make sure to ask for you. But yeah, he was also doing some time lapses of that windstorm as it came in the other day. I want to know how that turned out. It must have been cool. Yeah. So yeah. And looking at aphanosaurs with an archosauria. Don't see any. I'm not familiar with that group, Murph. Aphanosaurs? Who are they? Yeah.
Well, yeah, something to do. He's got a dozen. Job security means, I know, they're terrible.
And Aphanosauria. Who is this? Aphanosauria. Hidden lizards. Checks out. Base of Evimetatarssalia. Teleocrator and Yarasugas. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It might just be that that group hasn't been identified in the U.S. yet. Not necessarily that they're not from here. But yeah, it's a good question, Murph. I don't know enough about that. Yeah. Tomorrow, when Richard Butler's back, we might ask him about that because I know he's done a lot of work in the Triassic. Maybe he would know about that off the top of his head, but no guarantee. Yeah.
Yeah,
because that's a pretty significant difference in my mind.
Yeah, and something that I think would be, I think osteoderms are useful, of course, but I think something that would be even more useful for tying this to potentially other polycanthins, any of the more endochondral bones like that.
Yeah. That's, I mean, this is the thing with like Hoplotosaurus. You know, I really think that the Bodley critter probably should be stuck in that genus for now. You know, describing, because it's the only ankylosaur I've ever
Cool to get some
seen
shop talk on camera.
that's got convex undersides. In fact, they can be so convex they're almost as deeply going in as the top going out. You know, they're chunky as can be. Even the big ones are. They look more like they should be sauropod, you know, osteoderms. And the only other one I know of anywhere on the planet is the holotype of Hoplotosaurus in Black Hills. Has the same kind of osteoderms.
Check out all those
But
pebbles.
yes, blades,
Entire
you
layer
know,
of like
you know, but it's
5, 6.
So, because yeah, I still haven't been. That one's at the Smithsonian, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Here, let's go over to the other side of the other pit over there, where it's nice and quiet now. I'll point out some of the stuff that we've got over there. And I don't think I'm having any cake tomorrow, as art rules. I don't think we have any in camp. But yeah, I didn't see. At least, if there is some, it is well hidden. Let's check this out over here. Now that the crowd is gone. Ah, they left some ice on the ground. Goodness. Take some of this. Put that on here. You know what, let's put it in the hat and then on the head. How's that? Ooh. Ooh, nice. Some ice under the hat. That feels good.
I think that connects to sandstone.
All right, here we go. Yeah. So here we've got some big limb bones of these ankylosaurs under these fresh plaster jackets here. So this one's, I like how they labeled the scap coracoid here. This is a shoulder blade of this animal. We've got some limb bones in here. Yeah. And then we've got some other actual bone here that's not yet jacketed. So here's a bone right there. Actually doesn't look particularly different from the surrounding rock. And that's because this site wasn't as deep. The ground surface was much lower here before we dug in. And so a lot of this bone is in pretty crummy shape. It was right underneath the surface, and so a lot of these plants that were growing here, they send their roots down. And plants love to feed on fossil bone. There's lots of minerals in there that they really like. So they'll send their roots down and they'll just leach those minerals out. And they make the bone really crumbly. So that's part of what happened here. And then you just get weathering too when it's this close under the surface. So the bone over here is not going to be as pretty looking as it is over there where it was buried deeper, or where there was more, you know, sediment on top. Yeah. Yeah. And then, ooh, got a big old armor plate right here. Look at this. Actually, that could be an ilium. So big upper hip bone potentially. Yeah. Yeah.
I've lost my husband.
Oh, he's over there at the other pit. Yeah. It's like a kid in a candy store looking at all those bones there. Yeah.
Married paleo crew. We're like one of the, I think it's because we're not professional paleontologists that we can tolerate one another so well in the field. We're like, this is our vacation.
Exactly, yeah. It's not work, it's...
Yeah, if we were getting paid, we'd be like, rah! To each other for sure.
Picking out some of these other bones. This looks like a really nice, well, not super well preserved, but an armor hip bone. Doesn't particularly look like armor plate texture, like osteoderm texture. I'll, here, grab my laser pointer and outline it there for you. But there's the outline. You can see that. That almost looks like the tip of an ilium, like one of those upper hip bones. Yeah. We've got bones sticking out right here, and there. Looks like more bone right there, potentially. It is harder to spot the difference in color over here than it is at the other side. This almost looks like an upside-down toe bone here, if that's the distal end. Yeah. Cool. And it's so quiet now. Yeah. Ooh, and Dr. Tara's got a good question. We might want to talk to Jim about that, actually, if we can catch him. But Jim has got opinions about... In fact, the reason Papasaurus is potentially considered a struthiosaur, that's probably because of Jim. Yeah, maybe we'll ask him about that if we get the chance. Yeah. Crab Milkshake says, thanks for the great stream. I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for being here. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, the reason why you can get struthiosaurs in Europe and in North America is that there was a land bridge, or there were several land bridges that formed periodically. You know, they'd go away and then they'd come back during the Cretaceous. So there's big links between European and North American dinosaurs during the early Cretaceous, especially. Because they could walk across from basically like Spain or Portugal or the UK up into eastern North America. Those continents were linked there for a while. And then that separates, and then at the beginning of the late Cretaceous, yeah, you get a land bridge that forms between Asia and North America. So on the opposite side of the North American continent. In trying to figure this out, we look at these dinosaur faunas, we look at how they're similar or different between different continents, and suddenly, like, I don't know, in Mustn't Touch It times, at the end of the Cedar Mountain Formation, you get all these weird dinosaurs that seem to have their origins in Asia showing up suddenly in North America. You get giant oviraptorosaurs, you get ceratopsians, rather, neoceratopsians showing up in the Mustn't Touch It. These are things walking across the land bridge from Asia. They're walking through Alaska, essentially, to get into North America at the time. It's pretty cool. Grade school geography comes in handy. It does, Geeks Tour. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And there you go. Thank you, Golganek. Nice. Anywho. Let's go... Well, let's take a look at some of these other bones real quick, too, before we go over there. This one's already out, which is nice. Got a big limb bone inside of here. So this is a completed plaster jacket. So we'll probably bring this one back to camp today, just to get it out of the way. But it'll get labeled and everything. But this is that protective cocoon that we put around bones, not just to safely transport them, but to get them out of the ground without crumbling. So with these bones, you look here, they are all cracked apart. Especially over in this pit. So you got all kinds of cracks everywhere. If you try and pick this up, it's going to crumble. It's going to be in a bunch of different pieces. We don't want that. We want it to be exactly how it was for the past 130 million years. We want to preserve that original shape and everything. And so we'll trench around that. We'll put a protective coating of plaster-soaked burlap on it. Essentially like this. You dig around it. This is called trenching around it like that. And this guy will be ready to flip over tomorrow. Then they'll coat the underside with plaster and burlap, and it'll be ready to take back to the lab. So, yeah. Good stuff. We've got another bone right here. This also looks like it could be hip, or maybe scapula right here. Yeah. We've got this really fine white dust here at this site. Just coating everything. Because again, we're so close to the surface. This is what Josh was calling topsoil yesterday, but it's not soil, it's dust. Yeah. It's cool how this pit and that pit, even though these are presumably the same layer, they look very different. The rock behaves very differently just because this was more exposed to the surface than over there. Hence the bone's much more pristine looking over there. So, yeah. Top dust. Yeah, it's a better term than topsoil, I suppose. Good luck growing anything out here. And Devolved asks, are these all the same dinosaurs, or are there multiple species? These are almost all Gastonia, almost all our spiky armored dinosaur, except for a few key pieces like this one right here. By Jeff, a piece of theropod. So this is from a two-legged meat-eating dinosaur. You can tell it because it's hollow on the inside. Continuing to go in under those knee pads there. So they'll be carefully excavating that over the next few days, seeing where that goes. It could be a dinosaur like a Utah raptor, or it could be a different kind of meat-eating dinosaur. We won't know until we really get in there. But it's good stuff. Oh, and E-Dragonfly says, how many bones did a dinosaur have in its body? That's a great question. Let's go look at one of my visual aids. I can help explain this. Most dinosaurs have got about 300 bones. Some of them have more, though. And Chylosaurs, the kind we're digging up here, they're one of those groups that have more. A lot more, in some cases. Because they've got all of these extra armor plates, what we call osteoderms, that are made of bone. So they are bones. But they're bones that other dinosaurs don't have. So they're essentially bones that are like floating in the skin. They're armor plates. And then on the surface of the animal, they kind of protrude out of the skin, and they're covered by keratin, which is the same material as like your fingernails. So a lot of them are really interesting that they have like interwoven bone and keratin that kind of strengthen the whole thing. So bone is very strong, but it's not super hard. Keratin is super, super hard, but it can be brittle. But you get the two of them together, and they really strengthen one another. So these dinosaurs had crazy biological armor all over their bodies. Would have made them very well protected. So, again, here's our Gastonia model right here. So all of those spikes and those bumps over its hips, those are all osteoderms. So these are bones in the skin that these animals had that is fairly unique to them. The Thyreophorans, the armored dinosaurs, they've got that. Makes them special. There we go. So, here's a skeletal diagram here of Gastonia birdjaw. It's not our species of Gastonia, it's a slightly earlier one. But you can tell there, right here, we've got a nice cutaway drawing. This is by Greg Paul. Shouts out to paleo artist and researcher Greg Paul. They just have a million of these osteoderms. It's just a pavement of them, like scale. They've got big osteoderms, and they've got small osteoderms, and they've got tiny osteoderms. Guys has got, if you count those as bones, they've got thousands of bones. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, Gastonia birdjaw and Gastonia lorimiquiniae. So Gastonia birdjaw is the one that's a little bit older in time. We have lorimiquiniae here. And this one is younger in time. It might be a direct descendant of Gastonia birdjaw. That would make a lot of sense. And the plates and spikes are longer and pointier. And, yeah. This is here at the what they and dances with dirt. I guess asking about the theropod bone, is it actually hollow, or is the density coloration different in areas that tell you this part was hollow? No, that actually is hollow, yeah. There's rock on the inside now because it got filled in with sediment, but their bones were hollow just like the bones of birds. That's where birds got their hollow bones. That's a dinosaur feature that birds inherited. They inherited that from their theropod dinosaur ancestors. Yeah. And hang on, what's going on with the... Are we having issues here with the connection or with... What's going on? Camera's working, okay. It might just be a Starlink issue. It does that sometimes. It's fine again. Okay. Yeah. And we're goo. Thanks, Lenina. Yeah. Anywho. And poison strip. Yeah, so the poison strip here, I'll show you. I'll get that diagram that Jim gave us. So the Cedar Mountain Formation, these rocks that we're digging in, that's an officially named geological formation. But it's got different parts within it, different members, as we say, that are all mappable, they're all distinguishable. The Ruby Ranch member of the Cedar Mountain Formation is the one that we see going nearly up to the top of that little mesa. So at the top of it, that capstone, all of that up there, is Natarita Formation. So that's that overlies the Cedar Mountain. Everything below that is Cedar Mountain Formation. Ruby Ranch member, Poison Strip member down here. And then below that you get the upper yellow cat and then the lower yellow cat. So to show you here, Cedar Mountain Formation right here. And then you get the Natarita and touch it member, which we don't have here. See it kind of pinches out there? In this part of Utah, we don't have the mustn't touch it. It just wasn't preserved here. Then we get the Ruby Ranch member. Below that, the Poison Strip. That's these rocks that we're working in here. And then the upper and lower Yellow Cat members. And so those are named after the Yellow Cat mining district, the Yellow Cat region. Yeah, we're down here in that area. This whole area is called the Yellow Cat area. Yellow Cat region, Yellow Cat mining district. During the 1950s through 1960s, there was a tremendous amount of mining going on through here. Uranium mining in the Yellow Cat uranium mining district. So during the Cold War, when the United States needed nuclear material, radioactive material to build nuclear weapons, this is where they came. So there were tens of thousands of people who lived out here in the middle of the desert in these kind of towns on wheels. And they came out here for the mining, and then when they got what they wanted, they left. Just packed up the town and drove it out. So all these trailers and campers and Airstreams and stuff like that, they just got up and left. And now this area is nearly deserted. There's out here for I don't know how many square miles. This is all wilderness out here, all uninhabited, except for a few paleontologists and geologists and hikers and nature lovers and people like that who come out here. Dirt bikers and off-roaders. But pretty lonely country for the most part. Yeah. And they're abandoned. A lot of them are super dangerous. A lot of them are still open. Like, climb down into them, you might die. In fact, you'd very likely die. Some of them are flooded. They're filled with water, which is now all radioactive. Yeah. There's a lot of signs saying, like, don't let your cattle drink here, they'll die. Yeah. But a lot of naturally occurring uranium. And the uranium is not really from the Cedar Mountain Formation. It's from the underlying Morrison Formation. It's Cedar Mountain right now, but below that is the Morrison Formation. So the famous for these dinosaurs: Apatosaurus, Diplodocus, Brachiosaurus, Allosaurus, Stegosaurus. They're all from the Morrison Formation here. Your classic Jurassic dinosaurs of North America are from the Morrison. So if you go a little bit lower in section, you drive that way, and you follow these rocks, the stuff below the Cedar Mountain Formation is Morrison Formation. That's where you find those dinosaurs, and that's where you find the uranium, too. Yeah. So are the fossils radioactive? Many of them are, Murph, yeah. Yeah. There are a bunch of Morrison dinosaur fossils that got excavated and made it back to museums, and now nobody can touch them because they're radioactive. We can't, like, so they're locked away in cabinets and stuff like that. It's like, don't open these. or if you do open them, let it air out for a long, long time, and don't spend very much time in that room if you can help it. But in some of these uranium mines, they actually have dinosaur fossils in there that they were pulling out, and the dinosaur fossils themselves, these dinosaur bones, were collected as uranium. Because the bones themselves would accumulate a lot of that uranium during the fossilization process. So the bones themselves, some of them were actually, as I understand it, ground up and used as fuel in nuclear reactors. So they were nuclear submarines and stuff like that, tooling around the oceans that had little bits of dinosaur inside of their reactor cores. It's wild to think about, but yeah. Yeah. And Crimson Carnotaurus. Is that a song there, Crimson? I gotta look that up. Yeah. Brings a new meaning to fossil fuel. There you go, Charlie's Dragon, yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll look back to Jim about that in a minute, if we can catch him before he leaves. He's talking geology with Michael right now. It's important stuff. They're doing some science. But it'd be cool to have him talk about all the uranium stuff in this region. Jim's full of stories about that. Yeah. And... oh, and we typically don't work with radioactive fossils. It's just it's not worth it. Yeah. I did bring a radiation detector out here. It's in my tent right now. If I remember, maybe I'll bring it out tomorrow. And we can test some of these fossils. I don't suspect that they're radioactive, but who knows? Might be very mildly radioactive. Might be a blip on there. Yeah. But yeah. We don't wear Geiger counters. No, Calyx S. No, we don't. Yeah. Yeah. Let me get some more water. Yeah. There we are.
Some miles from Buckhorn. The base of that section is a column conglomerate.
Oh. Time is it? Nice. Yeah. And Elton Britt, Uranium Fever, Fallout right back from. Interesting, Murph. That might have been about this region. That might have been about working in the Yellowcat mining district. I would not be surprised. Because they did call it Uranium Fever. Yeah. Hmm. Ah. And it literally is nice. Okay. That would be really cool. Yeah, that's funny. We were in camp, and that song "Copperhead Road." Josh is like, "No, we ought to change the lyrics to this. Make it Yellowcat Road, because that's the road that we take to get in here." But yeah, we might have an even more relevant one. I should look that up. If somebody has a link to a YouTube video, post it, and I'll save that for later. I can listen to it in camp if I set up the internet again. Is that it, Murph? All right. Nope. And nope. Not that. Not that. Oh, goodness, these stupid ads. This is why I never watch YouTube on mobile. Because the ads are so aggravating. There we go. No, I don't want your ads for games. Share. Google Keep Notes. Save. Okay, nice. Elton Britt, Uranium Fever. Thank you, Murph. Appreciate it. Yeah, good stuff. Little radioactivity never hurt anybody. Exactly, Dances with Dirt. Yeah. Yeah. And Firefox. I should look into that, Gene Wen. Yeah. Yeah. I would consider getting YouTube Premium, but it's like $15, $20 a month, something like that. It's not worth it. I've got easier ways to download YouTube videos. Yeah. I don't know. I like this. I'd prefer to spend my money on Twitch Prime, so I don't get any ads anywhere on Twitch. Then again, I do this for a living, so like that's a business expense. But yeah. Yeah. And clip grab should work. I actually have a program on my computer that I paid for a while ago, but it works really, really well for like batch downloading YouTube videos. So a bunch of the stuff that I need for video editing and stuff, I'll grab off of YouTube. It could do like 50 videos all at once. You just copy and paste all the URLs in. Works really well. What's it called? FreeMake Video Downloader is what it's called, I think. But yeah, I like it. It works well enough. It has to update all the time because YouTube's always changing their stuff. But anyway, back to the fossils here. Anybody got any fossil questions? Yeah.
Chape is a good guy to work with. I really like his lot. We turned that site over to him because we knew you'd go after it. He's definitely interested to see Mom.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met him, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, no, great guy.
Jim, can we ask you about the Yellowcat mining district?
Sure.
A little bit, because some people in chat were fascinated by the idea of like radioactive fossils and stuff, and I know you've got stories.
Yeah, well, this stuff isn't radioactive. Cedar
Right.
Mountain bone is surprisingly not radioactive for the most part.
Yeah.
Some of the mustn't touches stuff is slightly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've got my radiation detector. I might bring it out tomorrow just to test this, but
You're
I trust you. It's
yeah,
not
you're
gonna
taught. Yeah, it's not going to be.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
But we got bone down in the Yellowcat district.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, you know, peg your machine. I mean, it's basically ore that's in the shape of a bone.
Didn't some of those bones actually like make their way into the ore carts and like they were collecting
Tons of it. I mean, Grants, New Mexico, they had a bone bed log jam they tried to get the Smithsonian interested in. And they're like, not on your life. You know, because it's like pure uranite. I mean, that's the per mineralization is uranium ore.
Gotcha. So that's how the uranium ends up in the bone in the first place.
There's no one wants to touch that stuff. It's radioactive. If you're a preparator working on that stuff, you're going to get cancer. You know, so, you know, that stuff, no, people don't mess with that.
Yeah.
You know, and there's stuff up at Dinosaur.
Dinosaur National Monument.
Yeah, that they have in a trailer that they collected at Rainbow Park that's it's shedding enough radon. They don't want to have it in the building.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of Chinle bones radioactive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Triassic's full of uranium, you know, ore areas.
So but there used to be how many thousands of people?
Probably like
working here?
6,000, I think, during the 60s, late
Nuts.
50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was about 6,000, and when the mines finally shut down, which maybe in the early 70s.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to your normal ghost town, they were all in trailers.
Yeah.
So the town drove away.
See, I wasn't making it up, Chad. I just told everybody that a minute ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you can see the remnants of the mine. I mean, there are hundreds of mine features.
Yeah.
In tunnels and I mean, the area is riddled.
Yeah.
But it wasn't done by a major operation. You know, you can see some of the structures that were built, and you know, when it was just going.
Yeah.
Pretty successful operation. But no.
Yep. Oh, Jim, I want to thank you too for that book recommendation. I've been since I got out here reading Edward Abbey's Desert Solitaire.
Doesn't it get you in the mood?
I love it. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And like he mentions, the Yellowcat Badlands and Skyline Arch and all that.
Oh yeah.
I got my tent, and there it is.
He worked at Arches when he was young.
Exactly. Yeah. So I enjoy it. I'd recommend it too for anybody who wants to learn more about this area and just.
It's classic.
Yeah.
Learn about the Southwest.
Just bathing in this landscape. It's a beautifully written book. Prickly. It's got a real attitude. But
he's prickly. I mean, he was a big believer in driving out there, you just throw your beer cans out of the vehicle. Yeah. He was an environmentalist, but this
not the touchy-feely kind.
This doesn't hurt anything.
But yeah,
he didn't like people. Too many people. When they put in Lake Powell, ooh, that dam opening up southern. He wasn't a fan of that at all.
Yeah.
That's what opened it up. Long drive. You get to Grand Staircase if you're coming from the north. Not many roads.
Now, Jim, you had a hand in reopening this site, like encouraging Josh to work here, right?
Oh yeah,
Tell us about
I worked
that,
here some with Ken when they first discovered the site.
So when did Laurie McWhinney first find it?
This would have been found in 95, 96. You know, in around there when Ken, you know, I started trying to get Ken Carpenter interested in working in Cedar Mountain with me.
Yeah.
But like many folks, he wanted to go his own way completely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. and developed his 5-year plan. You're looking at that outcrop belt that I always show you. You know?
Yeah.
He said, we're going to prospect this in 5 years.
The entire thing.
The entire thing. We're just going to line
5 years.
Volunteers, line them up.
It's ambitious.
And walk it.
Yeah.
And you know, they missed a few sites. One or two.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, it's, a lot of this stuff is subtle on the surface and juicy in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, but
so what year was it that Laurie McWhinney found it? I don't know.
Probably like mid 90s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, because they were working this when I was still at Grand Junction and when I just started this job. So he probably got serious about it in the late 90s. Down over there and looking. He had other sites and things.
Right.
But they got serious in the first few years of the aughts. When he got the job at Price, he stopped working here because it was a Denver location.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, so he wasn't interested. So no one dug here since around, I don't know, 2005 or whenever you went over.
Okay.
In 2008.
So 2008 to 2023.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
a big hiatus.
2009 might have been their last field season.
Okay.
But so it was quite a long time.
Yeah.
So when the BBC asked me and Susie
told
them, you should call Kirkland. You know, they want to do an armored dinosaur dig.
Yeah.
So he probably knows we can get an armored dinosaur on camera.
Yeah.
So, I know a place we can guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
Guarantee it.
Hundreds of bones. Yeah.
And let me talk to Josh Lively because I'm working on other sites. I don't want to be responsible.
Yeah.
And convince Josh and called the Denver museums. And,
oh, nice.
And they said, well, we're never going back there.
Yeah. So it was because of Walking with Dinosaurs that Josh...
That I got Josh to take this site over.
I didn't know that. Interesting. Okay.
So it was the first season.
Yeah.
Here. And we opened it again.
Yeah.
You know, and he found a mat that had been signed by Sertich and Natalie.
Oh, really?
You know, it was a little rug mat. They wrote in the back time, you know, that they were here, signed it.
Nice.
Found it on top
That's funny, yeah.
I don't know if they curated that or not as a historic artifact.
I'll have to ask Josh, yeah.
But,
it's cool to see the site reopen and, you know, so many bones just everywhere.
It's a huge site. I mean, you know, they got pits going all the way down there for about...
That way too?
Oh, yeah, all the way around. Go walk on those benches. There's pits all over.
Oh, man.
And then he just stopped.
Yeah.
You know, if you take any of this stuff, he didn't do more than a 2-foot high wall anywhere. You know, and it's like, you know, go back and get into fresh rock. You know, and, you know, if you ever stop in Denver and get to see that collection.
I'm hoping to, because I'm going to look at Cedar Orestes there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, ask, you know, cause, you know, just, you know, like 15 cabinets of stuff from here.
Shoot, yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, drawers of, here's the splates, you know, drawers full of splates. Drawers of coddle plates. I mean, drawer after drawer of coddle plates. Dorsals, you know, drawers of scapulocoracoid. Drawers of humeri. Just incredible what they pulled out of here. They worked here almost a decade.
Shoot.
You know, a few weeks a year. That was it.
Impressive.
Yeah. No, it's an incredible site.
Yeah.
You know, this is the kind of site where, you know, it's like, yeah, why can't you have a partnership with, like the Natural History Museum of London, and they get some stuff too.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd love to see that.
You know, so students over there don't have to buy a plane ticket to do science on this stuff, because it is, you know, they can be digging this site forever, and Josh isn't going to dig this forever. Heck, he's got
a museum to run.
He's got 10. He's got 10 sites. That are of this scale. You know.
You
know, Suarez site, every bit as big and a lot of potential. I mean, I'd love to see him reopen that again.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell him to do that while he's doing this. You know. But you know, there's a new dinosaur in their collection from there that Lindsay's working with him to describe.
Nice.
And I'm working with him on the new giant poacanthine they got from there.
Yeah.
And you know, it's, you know, there's a lot of fossils. You know?
Certainly.
But you got to do it right. You can't just let someone come in here and just try to pot hunt, because this bone, as you see, is fragile enough that it's just going to get rubble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, here's a chunk of a rib. Here's part of a spine. You know, to do this right, and when it's prepped properly, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have you seen what he's got in his collection?
I haven't, not yet.
Yeah, stop in. He's prepped some beautiful stuff out
He
here.
brought some. He's got some in the truck, I think. We'll show that off on stream tomorrow or Saturday. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and make sure you grab some of the handouts that are over there and bring them to camp.
Yeah,
Because they just left them on the thing. When I unloaded them to you and Richard, I figure they can have a couple sets. Use the rest in camp.
Yeah.
You know, bring a couple up here, so if you need to pull one out to say, see, this is what we think's going on.
I've got the Utah dinosaurs chart laminated, but I don't have any of the big ones yet. I should laminate some of those. Yeah.
Because they're pretty useful. There's a lot going on here. And that one chart I have of the yellow cat stuff, the Wheeldon spawn of the paradox.
That is cool, yeah.
That's just the Dromaeosaurus and Polycanthines.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try to squeeze the Therizinosaurs in here.
Might be a little too busy, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And the big chart, I got the sauropods on it because they're less abundant. You know.
Oh, Rethius here in the chat says, hey, of the University of Utah Museum. Yeah, Jim Kirkland here is the state paleontologist. Those critters on display there are critters that Jim discovered or described.
Named 8 of them.
Named 8 of them?
8 that are on display. Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
10 at Price. But,
nice.
And some of they got on display there at Prehistoric Museum. There are casts of things I named, and they're in other museums.
Right,
too.
yeah.
You know, Zuni is in Arizona. Yeah, but they got one on the wall. Of course, they have the original Diablo, Ceratops, and the original of Falcarius.
Yeah.
The original of Utahraptor, those in the Prehistoric Museum.
Nice.
And the original Gastonia stuff. They got the cast skull of it on exhibit.
Yeah.
You know, my cast foot that they stole from me.
So Jim, part of your job is to be like a cheerleader for dinosaur.
Well, I want to see, part of my job is to encourage science, figure out ways our local rural communities can profit by this stuff without exploiting the resource.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm a big, dawn of the Cretaceous fossil beds national monument.
Yeah.
Is something I really want to see happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And make the headquarters at the Prehistoric Museum.
Nice.
Because it's centrally located for this.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense, and Josh is on board for that. Yeah. You know, because it'd be more money into their coffers, which they need. And we'd be able to have jobs for rangers out here and develop some sites. I'd put a little visitor center there on the Yellow Cat Road.
Yeah.
You know, and I wouldn't open this up, but Josh could be running or have grad students or students, volunteers running Digs for Pay here.
Yeah.
So people, they set a few weeks a year where, and they easily can book enough people, come in and stay in Green River.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you're not staying, it depends on the restaurants and the bars. Give me a break, you guys. I mean, just like, it's like David. They were staying south of Bigwater, like Page, and commuting to the North Underground Staircase for a dig.
Yeah.
Each way, 2 hours.
That's nuts.
Rather than staying, in like Escalante or someplace small.
Yeah. Or camping.
Yeah.
Well, so
4 hours a day driving.
That's a lot.
Man.
If there were a case to be made for Utah being the dinosaur capital of the world, what would that case be?
Well, we have the most sequential dinosaur faunas any place on Earth.
Yeah.
What about Asia? Asia's a little bigger than Utah. Not fair. China.
A little bit.
In total.
Yeah.
But even in total, we probably have more faunas than China has.
So more like...
levels with their own biotas.
Yeah, so different kinds of dinosaur, different...
I think we're up to 33.
33 faunas?
Faunas in the Mesozoic, documented.
And how many of those are here in the... in the Cedar Mountain formation?
Cedar Mountain is like... 12... 13, 14 faunas.
13 or 14 faunas.
Early
That's
Cretaceous.
Nuts. Yeah.
That's what we know now.
Yeah.
And
how many was it 20 years ago?
1. 2 dinosaurs. 2 dinosaurs.
So in 2005, there were 2 dinosaurs known. No, there's more than that from the Cedar Mountain. There were two? Just Gastonia and Utahraptor?
No, this is before them. They got named then. Before them, there was a Tyrannosaur.
Okay.
It turns out to be a Camptosaur from the Morrison. I've rediscovered the site. It's not in Cedar Mountain. From a bleached out area of Morrison.
Okay.
And Hoplitosaurus, CF Hoplitosaurus. And what's the other? It's the third one. Oh, come on, there's one more. Part of a sauropod. Yeah.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that, Dave Weissample identified this thing as Tyrannosaurus. And they sent him these small, the jaws are like that big. I got casts of all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And the jaws were only this big, and they're baby Tyrannosaurs. He was told they're from the Cedar Mountain, so they thought Aptian Albion. But everything was Aptian Albion in the Cretaceous in North America.
Now we know there's like 40 million years represented in the Cedar Mountain. It's,
But he's looking at that, so he's going, okay, what do we have? Well, it's more derived than a Hypsilophodon, clearly, from those teeth. CF Tyrannosaurus, so something like Tyrannosaurus. Which is fair with the information he had at hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Looked at a handful of little jaws. They're like the mid parts of the jaws, not the entire jaws. Which you might have got more info out of.
That's funny.
But I'm pretty comfortable now that it's a Camptosaurus site. A lot of little Camptosaurus
from the Morrison.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only about a mile from some Cedar Mountain sites.
Yeah, yeah.
But still, down section.
Well, if you got to get going, Jim, I don't want to hold you up too long.
Yeah, I'd start thinking about driving around. Want to do one more lap back that way. And,
looking at the geology. And
I'm
looking
at bed. The only way we're going to really figure it out, though, I think, because I've done pretty good with Google Earth. Tilt the continent and look at it on edge.
Yeah.
And pretty comfortable that bed becomes the bed above the Utahraptor megablock. And that this bed just pinches out past this road and is gone.
All contiguous. So that one pinches out.
And the BYU Yankee site is probably a little bit younger than this.
Interesting.
But below.
Yeah.
And it could well be Laurie McWhinney still. Maybe it's a new species. I mean, I can't say for sure. But we have another ankylosaur, the CF Hoplitosaurus.
Yeah.
That's and you got no fragment of one of them in this stuff. So it's like, and the armor's distinctive. Just a couple scutes, I'd be able to tell it's there.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any bit of it in any of these things. So now I'm thinking, that's the upper stuff, which is probably Borremian, and this here is Hativerian, because we have a date on this stuff pretty close to 130.
Yeah.
So it's Hativerian, and which is older than I thought. I thought all of this stuff was going to be like Hativerian through Borremian, but this site seems to be Hativerian, which is not the last stage of the early Cretaceous, second to last, and Borremian's the last stage.
Yeah.
The Wealden faunal interval. Sorry, not the
Gotcha.
early Cretaceous.
Well, then get
we get Wealden stuff, but you get it in the Borremian, Alawite, Wessex is Borremian for sure, and the Hoplitosaurus stuff has always been thought to be Borremian. Maybe it isn't. Maybe we don't have Borremian in North America.
That would be
There's
interesting.
a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work. Any young students want to be paleontologists, anybody that wants to support research, there are major projects to be had. And the fossils are there and the rocks to figure these things out. It's just, it doesn't happen overnight. I'm going to go out and pick this up, and now I have the answer.
Right.
Every rock you pick up raises 10 questions.
Yep. Well, thanks for talking with us, Jim. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, cool. Jim Kirkland, everybody. Papa Jim, as we call him, a Utah State paleontologist. I've been working with Jim for 4 years now, I think, in the field. And, it's good that he was able to come out and visit us here. Exciting things to come. Got some papers I want to work on with Jim, and maybe a popular book, too. I'll talk more about that sometime. But, and he's gone off in the sunset. Exactly, Geek Store. Yeah. So, Good stuff. Anywho, yeah, and Jim did write that Star Trek novel too. And asked him if he saw the new Mongolian pachycephalosaur and if its teeth are similar to the mustn't-touch-it pachycephalosaur teeth. Maybe we can ask him tomorrow, because I think Jim will be back. But, yeah. It probably is pretty similar. It's probably pretty similar in age. But I don't want to bug Jim right now. Yeah. And let's see. Having chats with Jim the legend. Exactly, Palosaurus. Yeah. And Jim frequently shows up here in the chat as well when I'm back home in the office. So that's always a treat to see Jim pop up there. Yeah. And curious if we know why so many dinosaurs are in the Utah area. Oh, there you go, Rethius. Yeah, so it's not that there were that many dinosaurs there were a lot of dinosaurs in Utah. There were a lot of dinosaurs all over the world, on all 7 continents, from North America to Antarctica. Dinosaurs lived everywhere. The thing that makes Utah special is that Utah has a lot of exposed rock like this from the time of the dinosaurs, and a lot of that exposed rock is the right age where it's unique. Nowhere else in the world do you find it from this time. So the Cedar Mountain Formation here, where we're digging, this age of rock like this doesn't exist anywhere else in North America. In very few places around the world do you find rock of this age exposed on the surface where you can collect fossils from it. So Utah's got a lot of stuff like that, where just by the luck of the draw, Utah has a lot of exposed rock, and a lot of it happens to be unique in age. So you get unique dinosaurs from there because it's unique in age. So it's pretty impressive. We've got over 120 different dinosaurs that have been named from Utah. It's pretty impressive. So Jim's gonna go drive off into the sunset now. He's got some geologizing to do. He's gonna be driving around looking at the outcrop, trying to figure out what's going on with these different beds. Do they continue over the horizon? That kind of thing. So lots of geology to do. But yeah. And Rethia says, I wonder why the rock was preserved. Jim actually has a spiel about this. Yeah, for the Cedar Mountain Formation in particular, Jim likes to talk about salt tectonics, which is something that I only have the vaguest understanding of. But basically you had a bunch of salt down in the rock, like, halite. It's kind of mineral. It's the same thing as salt, essentially. And a lot of this was like bedrock at the time, and it got squeezed out because it tends to be not the densest stuff. And so that created accommodational space, as I understand it, that allowed for more rock to be deposited here. So rock was being laid down at this time and place where it was being laid down almost nowhere else on Earth at the time. So like almost anywhere else on the planet, this is like, a big question mark this particular time. But that rock is preserved here in Utah because there was this giant salt deposit that got squished out, that left a big basin, and so that you had sediment wash in and form these rocks. That's my vague understanding of this, So yeah. Anywho, yeah, we love Utah. Yes, indeed, Claire. We're really lucky to be here. And with that said, it's time for me to wrap this up. I've been streaming for, 3 hours, 40 minutes so far, thereabouts. And we've got to go pack up. Oh, see? Yep, they're already packing up the shade tarps and everything. We're going to go back to camp and make dinner and all that good stuff. So let's find somebody to raid into here. Don't go away just yet. We'll see if anybody else is doing some science right now on Twitch. See if we can show them some love. There we go. Watch. Following. Who else is on? Let's see. Pickings are a little slim right now, but let's go say hello to Melissa in denial. Why don't we? Is she live yet? Soon. Yeah, let's go right into her. So we're going to go from paleontology to archaeology here. Let's go see what Melissa is up to. She's a real-life archaeologist and Egyptologist. So from Utah to Egypt. Raid Melissa in denial. There we go. Thank you everybody for a wonderful stream today. Thank you especially to Kit Boga for the enormous raid right at the beginning, just after we figured out those technical difficulties. I really appreciate the raid there. Thank you to everybody who supported the stream financially today. All of those gift subs and bits that people cheered, people subscribing and resubscribing. That's the reason I can do this when I do so. Thank you very, very much for supporting a starving paleontologist, helping me pay the bills. That's a big deal. Thank you to everybody who watched, your enthusiasm, your questions. Thank you to the moderators for all of your hard work, explaining things to people, answering questions, keeping this a safe and welcoming community for everybody, people of all ages and backgrounds. I appreciate you more than you know, mods. I'll be streaming again tomorrow. It's my birthday tomorrow, actually. So I don't know if we'll do anything special on stream. We'll see, but I'll be streaming on my birthday tomorrow, live from the field. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope to see you then, everybody, and take care of yourselves. Let's go right into Melissa in denial. Bye-bye.